let you lead on in and just welcome. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Richard said I could welcome you, and so I'll do that. Welcome to Cherokee and to Harris. And I know some of you probably bought some money and you're hoping to double or triple it. But this is the one of two Area 1 membership meetings. And thanks to you all for coming. I understand about half the people who signed up are coming, and we know that's because of COVID, but thank you for being here. We appreciate having those of you that are, and maybe some of the others will join us later. I'm a total newbie because I've attended one meeting so far of the NCRGEA board, and I'm replacing somebody who finished a 6-year term, or 2 3-year terms. This is, I think, an effective association that has plans, and I do mean a strategic plan they've worked on, that is going to make it much more effective for you. And one of the things we're doing is we're trying to have more outreach, and I'm sure there'll be more about this later, but we need some of you to serve on advisory committees so we have some communication between meetings and during the year and when we're trying to get COLAs and benefits. So that's why you should join and in these activities and extend a little bit beyond what you're doing now. It would be very helpful. And see Daryl, she's raising her hand. There'll be time for that later, but I just wanted to say thank you for coming and welcome, and give us all you can because we need it to get the things done in Raleigh, particularly nowadays, that we need. Thank you, Richard.
Bob, thank you so much. He's not that much of a newbie, y'all. He served about 40 years in public service and did a great job out west here at Land of Sky Council of Governments. So we're going to move on with the agenda. Before we do, I want to announce our staff. And y'all come down front, Donna, Karen, Daryl. So this is a portion of the staff. This is kind of our road crew here, and I wanted to introduce them to you because they're the ones that really make this event happen and are great resources for you throughout the day if you need any assistance. To my far left is Karen Jarvis. Karen Jarvis is our was our membership coordinator. She decided to retire once again in July, but one thing that we couldn't do is go off on the road without her, so we've invited her, and she's been a great help to us, but she served the association for 8 years, I believe. So let's give Karen a round of applause and thank you. Now, there are benefits with Karen as well, and one of those benefits is over here, our technical person, Rusty, so he is the one that's making it all work for us, and thank you, Rusty, for that as well. Just one more comment about, they were in Beaufort last night about 8 or 9 o'clock, and they made it here to get all this set up, so we certainly appreciate that. Next is Daryl, closest to me. Daryl is our community liaison. You'll be hearing from Daryl a little later. She's working diligently to help grow our community involvement, our community advisory boards, and you'll hear more about that as well. Now, in the middle is Donna. Donna is our communications director. I will say that Donna, this is Donna's last day, y'all. we are terribly sorry that she's leaving us. She's decided to retire and live the good life, I guess. She's been with us for 11 years, and she's the one that really makes these meetings happen, puts them all together. And there's a couple things, Donna, we want to do. We want to thank you with a gesture. We've got a little cake here for your service to the association and a card that has a whole lot of signatures on it. So thank you, Donna. We appreciate it. Yay!
This is a surprise. Most 95% of these folks have signed.
So thank you, Donna, so much for all you've done for the association.
There's plates and forks and everything, and y'all want a piece, they're all want one.
Put it in the back by the coffee.
There you go.
I've eaten for 9 days on the road, and I can't eat anymore.
Thanks. All right. Well, good. Thank you so much. Now we're going to move on with the program. I'm going to run through 2 or 3 things. First, I want to mention the bag that you were given when you brought in. There's a couple things that I want to make sure you know. There's a handout in there that's a form for y'all to fill out to give us your information so that we can be in better contact with you. When we have our community meetings, we have your email and you can be informed of it. And we really need to grow that email list and our cell phone connectivity with our members. So we ask you to do that. We also ask you also to complete it and give us some ideas about what you'd like to see go on in your community. You're going to have some opportunities in a few minutes to give us feedback on that as well. The other thing, there's a lot of information in there, but one of the pieces that I want to point out is the important resource contact information sheet. This has all the numbers, contact information for important resources, whether it's the SHIP program, the state health plan, our supplemental insurance information, our phone number, and all, the state employees credit union. So it gives you the information. Some of the presenters are going to be offering numbers. It is on this sheet, so you don't have to worry about writing them down in the presentation. All right, next, I want to kind of give you an update about what's been going on with us over the last year or so. We hadn't been on the road in about 18 months. One of the major things that's going on, obviously, is our legislature. The legislature went into session in late January. They seem to like being in session because they're still in session in late September. So we've had a relatively successful year. We had about 4 priorities that we were really engaged in. If you're on our legislative updates, you've been tracking this. The 3 priorities that are pretty much done for the year, one is obviously funding the pension system. We want to make sure that it is well funded and continues to remain well funded. Currently, that pension system is about $124 billion for local and state retirees, so it's very well funded at this point. It puts out about $500 million in checks to retirees every month of the year. Over $6 billion annually goes into retiree checks. And there's about 684,000 members in the system as well. So the system got funded well. It's in both the Senate and the House budget, so we don't think that's in too much controversy. The state health plan is also funded well in both of the budgets. The other issue that we were really focused on this year is expansion of broadband. One of the things that COVID taught us was that there are gaps in our connectivity and that some people have a hard time getting connected and being able to get work done virtually, whether it's a hospital visit, a doctor's visit, or just staying connected during these times when we're having to stay apart from each other. And so we took this on and felt it was a important priority for us to work on. A lot of other people were thinking about it too. I think there's probably a dozen broadband bills introduced to the legislature this year. And both of the budgets do have funding for broadband. I think it's going to be about a $750 million expansion of broadband to help us better connect with mostly the rural areas of the state like we're in now. And I can tell you the mountains are a challenge, absolutely. But hopefully this money will be used in a good way, and we can better connect our citizens in North Carolina, and especially our retirees. Finally, I want to talk about the cost of living adjustment. We came in January prepping ourselves for the legislative session. There was a $6.5 billion excess in revenue that was there, and we felt like it's a great opportunity to provide a cost of living adjustment for our state and our local retirees. How many local retirees do we have in the audience today? Absolutely. The legislature is not responsible for your retirement system. They don't put money in your retirement system, the local governments do, but given the excess amount of funds, we felt like it was critical that we support and help get a local cost of living adjustment for our retirees. We did get a bill introduced the first time ever. Representative Hardister out of Greensboro introduced a 2% bonus for retirees, local government retirees, and we processed that through the Pensions and Retirement Committee, and it went on to the Appropriations Committee for consideration. We had 2 COLA bills for state retirees introduced, one in the Senate and then one in the House as well. That bill in the House processed to our Pensions and Retirement Committee. It passed out and went to Appropriations as well. The leadership and the Appropriations Committee decided that they would provide a 2% bonus for state retirees. Unfortunately, we did not get that bonus in for our local retirees, but we'll continue to work for you. Where we are now with the budget, oh, by the way, the Senate did not put any money in the budget for retirees. So we did not have any money coming in for retirees in the Senate budget. Right now we're in conference. The House passed its version, the Senate passed its version. Neither one of them liked each other's version, so they went to conference. And in fact, we've heard little since they've been in conference for over 5 or 6 weeks. We do know that they are now, I think today, actually meeting with the governor to work out the differences. The governor has a stake in this. His budget he introduced had a 2% COLA for retirees, recurring COLA, as well as a 2% bonus. So they'll be at the table working out the details. Pay raises, cost of living adjustments are always decided at the last minute by the leadership, so we're at that point now. We'll be getting information out. If you're on our email list, we'll be asking you to call the speaker and the president pro tem and encourage them to make sure they support our efforts there. One other matter, the Lake case. How many of you are familiar with the Lake case? It's a case that we have with the state health plan, actually. Plaintiffs put in this case in 2012 for breach of contract with retirees because of a premium that is charged on retiree health care. And the case has been winding through the court since that time. It was heard at the district level. They agreed with the plaintiffs 100%. And sent it on to the appellate court. The appellate court did not agree. They sided with the state. Our attorneys petitioned the Supreme Court to hear the case. 3 weeks ago now, they decided to hear the case. They will be having the hearing on October 4th at 3 p.m. We will get a link to that hearing. You'll be able to hear it. It'll be on our website, so I encourage you to go to the website. It'll be an hour hearing with both sides stating their case, and then the Supreme Court will make the final decision. This is the last step. It can't go anywhere else. Now, one thing I can't tell you is how long it'll take the Supreme Court to make a decision. I've learned that the wheels of justice turn slow. Sometimes it seems like they're even in reverse almost. We're excited to have that in front of the Supreme Court and look forward to getting a result and hearing their final decision on that. Next, I want to go to our strategic plan. Bob mentioned that. We've been working on our strategic plan for about over 12 months now, and we are, hold on one second. Here. 1 All right. You can bring that up, Rusty. Appreciate it. So, our strategic plan, honor and build. One of the things we looked at here is we want to honor the public service that our members have provided the state and made it a great place, but we also want to build ourselves into a stronger, more meaningful organization for our membership and for those that are not members. And we went about this, again, we did it all virtually, which was very interesting. I think we had probably 180 Zoom meetings in this process. But eventually we came together with a plan that I think is very, very interesting, and it's something that we can implement and become better and better serve you. Our mission statement that we have adopted, the board adopted this plan in June, is to advance, promote, and protect benefits, interest, and well-being of North Carolina retired state and local public servants. One thing I do want to note about this, in our previous mission statement, we just had government retirees. In this statement, we identify both of our main groups of retirees of state and local to make sure that we understand that we're going to focus on both of these groups and not pick one and choose one over the other. Our vision, prior we had no vision. Well, we did have a vision, but it wasn't stated, okay? The vision is the voice and go-to resource for North Carolina's retired public servants. One of the things and goals that we have with this plan is to make us the go-to resource for retirees. We want to be the agency and the source that the General Assembly comes to when they have questions about state and local retirees in North Carolina. We want the Treasurer's Office and the retirement system to consult us on what they do as it relates to our retirees as well. And we want to expand our service to you so that you see us as the go-to resource for information that you want in your retirement. Core values, felt like it was critically important that we have values listed and stated as how we will operate as we move forward in implementation of this. Service is evidently key with this organization. It always has been. For 50 years it's existed, and now we want to continue that service to you. You call our office, somebody picks up the phone, and you get an answer. Actually, that hadn't been the case the last couple of days. We've had a breakdown in our phone systems, but we still are there for you, and you don't have to go through a whole menu to find out and try to get to somebody. Integrity is critically important in the way we advocate for you and the way we serve you. Collaboration is an area that we need to expand ourselves. We need to reach out and collaborate with more like associations that represent the retired and senior communities across North Carolina so that we can support you in your effort better. We can give you information that they put out. In a few minutes, Darryl will talk to you a little about some of the opportunities that we have there. And then diversity is something we all need to be conscious of and all need to put in the forefront of our efforts as an organization. So out of this, there are 6 strategic objectives that we came up with. I'm going to quickly run through these, and then we're going to take a minute to get some feedback from you. How many of you have that sheet? Where is this sheet in front of you? It's on, there it is, Martha Sue. It's on your table. It's got a QR code. If you hadn't already done so, take a picture of it with your phone, and you can get in line, and you can come up, and then you can participate by your phone. So while I'm speaking, try that out, download it. If it doesn't work, we'll try to get around to you a little bit and try to help you out with that. We're also going to do it verbally as well, and some hand raising so that you can participate as well. I want to start with communications. Obviously, communications is a critical need for us to be able to do effectively. We need to build the association's capacity to expand strategic use of digital communication to better engage our membership. We've got a dichotomy in this group. We have folks like me and most of you that we like the paper, we like to read the newsletter, we like to get it in the mail so we can read it, touch it. I love the newspaper still, but we also have retirees coming out in their 50s now that have been engaged in this digital community and working digitally that want to more experiences that way. So we are going to have to expand that in order to start capturing new retirees. Awareness is another area of focus that we need to expand on. Y'all, we did a survey of some of the folks out in the general public and some retirees that hadn't joined our association, and people don't know who we are. We've got to do a better job of explaining and communicating, connecting with people to let us know who we are, what we're about, and how we can serve retired public servants. Public perception is another major issue. Over the past 30 years, the perception of public service has been going downhill. The people and the general public are less and less connected with the activities and involvement and what public servants do to make this state a great place. We're going to be working to try to change that. We're going to be trying to get out information that will provide the public and reconnect them with this good work that public servants do now and as retirees. Service is another area that we want to continue to grow in. We can better serve you. We can provide more information that you're looking for in your retirement that can support you and make your retirement in a better state. And that's a big goal of ours, to make sure that we provide the opportunities on our website and interface with you, ways and things of interest that you have to better support you in your retirement. Our advocacy, we do a lot of that, but we're going to have to pick it up, quite frankly. The idea here is that we need to expand our advocacy to support you as retirees, but we need you involved in that. One of the things that we'll be doing through our local engagement is trying to sit down with legislators in their districts with our members and have a conversation and grow a relationship with them so they understand better where we're coming from, the needs that you have as retirees, the need to maintain your pension value as you move through retirement. And I hope we'll get the feedback from them about any concerns they have, but eventually gain their support so that we can be more effective in our General Assembly. Finally, local engagement is a have-to for us. It will engage our membership locally. The plan is here, we want to get involved with the community. We want to learn from you about what resources you need to make your retirement better, what resources you would like to have, things you would like to be educated about and learn about, and bring it to you. So we're looking forward to that. And now I'm going to let Dr. Darrell Davis Formal come up and give a little overview of what she's been working on with our local engagement.
Oops. Can you all see me? Oh, this, I can lay it flat. Okay. Let's see if it's going to, oops. It's not really, here we go, wait a minute. Here we go. All right. Good morning. Great. All right. I had the opportunity to speak with many of you before we started this morning, and some of you have already turned in your forms to become more active with us and to work with us with our community advisory boards. So I'm looking forward to several more of you doing the same thing. I'll be here all day. You can hand it to me or you can put it on my table. We have a QR code out there, so if you want to go directly to the web page, you can use your cell phone and do that or fill out the form. Fill out the form, make sure that you go to the back of the form and at least give me your email, cell phone, phone number, and I'll be in touch soon. So thank you so far. And Bob, thank you for giving me the plug initially on the community advisory boards. We really need to hear from you. We really need your voices. We really want to localize what we're doing, and we really want to become involved with you as you become involved with us so that we can provide you with the best service possible as we are growing in this direction to localize our engagement. So we will look forward to having you join us. How many of you, if you have seen the trivia game or played the trivia game? Okay, great. There are prizes with that, and you can get to know the NCRGEA by going on our website and playing that game. All the answers are on the website. We are now giving away a gift card every other month, and then we will be featuring our members in the newsletter. That is another way that we will be getting to know you, so that if you win that game, then we can feature you and we can talk about all the great things that our public servants as a collective have been doing over all these years. So please participate in that, and please read the District Connection. Some of you told me you recognize me from that article. It will give you information about what we're doing. So right now what I want to do is share with you some of the things, 3 of the major things that have come out of our meetings already with several of our community advisory boards in other districts. And we're going to carry this across the state. One is health and wellness. We're all living a lot longer. We're all retired, and you know, we want to live a lot longer. And so, but we want to make sure that we are healthy and that we take care of everything about our wellness. And so our members have given us ideas about how we can spread the word and give information to you, such as maybe posting exercise videos. We are connecting with our senior centers in all the districts across the state. And at those senior centers, they have many activities that you can become involved in if you're not already. Art classes, Zumba classes, nutrition and diet. We've collaborated with UNC Charlotte. They are and will be offering a free caregiver workshop that you will be able to take advantage of, or become a trainer for caregiving if you are interested in that. And we'll be able to offer these all the time, you know, to our members. So you'll be hearing more about that in the November newsletter. The senior centers are also indirectly or directly connected with Meals on Wheels, which there are volunteer opportunities available to you, or if you need Meals on Wheels, or you want to attend the congregate meals that they offer while you're there, or if you need home delivery, they are there for that. There's a lot of resources out here for our seniors and our retiree population. We want to make sure you are connected, because we're looking forward to becoming the go-to resource entity for you. You go to NCRGEA and you can find what you need, and that's what we're looking at. So we want you to join us to tell us what your interests are. The third one is welcome to retirement workshops that our members have talked about, because some people are planning retirement, they need information. So we want to be able to provide that to our members, to our state and local government, our public servants who are planning retirement, so they can come to us as well. And then we're going to provide some information in post-retirement. There might even be a benefit fair online and in person that they have talked about, and a resource booklet online, and you can have it printed if you like. We're working on all those things, but these are some of the ideas that our members have come up with, and we want your voices. So please, please, please take the opportunity to join us. We won't take much of your time, but it will be fun, and we will hear you. So I encourage you to do that. Thank you so much for giving me the time to talk, Richard, and I'm not going to take any more of your time.
Thank you, Daryl.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, so how many of you got that QR code in? All right. Keep trying. Does anybody need any help, think they can't quite get it or want to? We'll run around and try to help you out there. So we're going to do a few polling questions and a few discussions that we want to get your feedback. Karen is playing Vanna today, so we want folks to participate on the AHA slide. If you'll see it on your phone, you can actually tap in and choose these options here and submit your options of where you would like to participate, and we'll collect that information online as well. All right. So the first question we have is, what kind of local events or activities would you be most interested in engaging in, choosing all that apply? So these are multiple. What I'm going to do, we're going to get a show of hands here in the audience of those folks that would like to participate in different areas of this nature. So How many of you would participate in an in-person meeting in your area? This is not a hard one, y'all. You're here, right? So let's just raise your hands, hold it up. All right. Thank you, Martha Sue. All right, virtual meetings is another area, and it's not necessarily, we have our folks online this morning, which is great, our live stream. We appreciate them joining us virtually, but there's other virtual meetings, whether it's webinars that we offer. We did a webinar a couple weeks ago about our supplemental insurance. We've done webinars on financial care and those kinds of things. So how many folks would like to participate in those types of things and would find that of value? All right. All right. Good. So, is anybody trying to participate on the AHA slides that hadn't been able to get in, or you can't get in? Okay. Look, we'll see if we can help you out with that. All right. How about education and learning and training events? One of the things we want to do is come out to our members and start training on advocacy and how to better connect with legislators, give y'all more information about our priorities, how we approach those, and then we can do that on a number of different things as well. Anybody interested in learning about on different topics related to retirees? We've got a program we're working on to help with care for those that are suffering from dementia and aging issues, from help care for spouses. Personally, I'm caring for my mother and father now. Folks interested in learning about that type of thing and learning more about activities that they can participate in and help us with, all right. We got about 6, 7, 8. All right, good. Volunteering. Darrell mentioned Meals on Wheels and senior centers. Folks interested in participating and supporting and volunteering in your community for certain services and things that we can do. We may have a fair that we want to go to, a community fair, and set up a booth for NCRGA. Folks interested in helping us out with that and participating and volunteering on things like that? Anybody interested in doing that? Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. All right. How many are interested in getting to know your legislator a little better? Well, Bob, thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute, but we're like I said, we're going to try to provide some training and get folks engaged more. So do keep that in mind. All right. Social networking. So this by means of joining us on Facebook, maybe setting up a Facebook group in your own area or something of that nature, and connecting through social media. Folks interested in doing that, staying aligned. We do some Facebook posts. We're going to be doing more. We're going to start posting more on Twitter. I got a couple there, Karen, I think. All right. All right. Good. So the next slide is what would make you more interested in attending a meeting in your area. Holler out at me if you got any ideas. What would make you excited about coming to a meeting? So my favorite is food. I always like food to come in. The other day we had somebody say wine. Yes, ma'am. Informative programs, educational programs, selected by you, right? By the members of the interest that you have. Absolutely. What else? All right. All right, now we're going to get a little bit into advocacy. How many of you would be comfortable, as you sit today with what you know, comfortable speaking with your local elected official about your retirement, or a state elected official or representative about your retirement? How many folks are comfortable doing that? And you know your legislator, you know your local elected official. All right, we got 3, 4. So how many of you would be interested if we provided more information about our priorities, more information about the retirement system, what it is, what it's not doing, what it is doing, and have some educational opportunities so that you're better informed? How many of you, after something like that, would be interested and willing to talk to legislators and local elected officials? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Got 8 or 9 there. So one thing I like to point out is, especially our legislature seems to be this group of folks, right, that is just up there and they can't seem to do anything right sometimes. But the fact is, they're all people. And the fact is, I think what we need to do better is we need to engage them, sit down around a table and build a relationship. When you have a relationship with somebody, you can talk frankly, you can have feedback, you can have conflict, but eventually you can come out on the other end so that you both have a better understanding of each other and an appreciation of each other. And that's kind of the state that we want to get in with our advocacy efforts. So how many of you just don't give a rip and don't want to talk to your legislator and just, you know, I could care less? Anybody? You see, I got my hand up, don't you? No. All right. So I mentioned about educating and advocacy. Is there any other specific things that y'all might need that you feel like you would like to know more about in order to make you more comfortable talking with your legislator? Right. Absolutely. I think that's a great comment. That goes back, there's a couple of factors there. It's not just the COLA, it's about the retirement system too. The retirement system hadn't been producing them, right? And we have not been able to convince the legislature that they need to. So that's a great point. Absolutely. Anything else? So more about COLAs? All right. Great. On what topics would you like to become more informed? All right. We got COLA, so we got, how many folks want to know more about COLAs? Yeah, lots of people. All right. How about retirement system management? The retirement system is a complicated thing, y'all. We're going to try to do a little educational. I've got, I think I had 7 or 8 there. We're going to be working on giving a brief webinar and educational series on that to simplify it and make it understandable for you. Tax policies. Anybody interested in tax policies and how to benefit from those? One thing we're working on is the expansion of the Bailey Act, which is those folks that vested before August 12th, 1989 are tax-free of income tax. Those that did not, who are after, like myself, are still paying taxes. We need to bring an equitable relationship there between those retirees that are in and those that aren't. We are working on that. 6, all right. Broadband access. How many folks have issues with broadband here? Yeah. That's a great one. I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. Yep. How many of you would like to know more about your political candidates prior to an election, right? Want to know where they stand, engage. We did a couple of webinars with our candidates to the governor, lieutenant governor, and treasurer this past session, and I thought they went well. We got to know the people a little better, what they were about, right? 1, 2, 14, 15, 16. All right. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I'd like to know more about, I'd like to get more advice on personal finances.
Absolutely.
You've had
Yep. It should be there. We try to keep those on our YouTube channel, so it should be up there. But I think different and maybe honing in on specific issues and that kind of thing, we need to kind of build a bank of it, right? So you can go, when you have a question, you can go and find out the specific. That's a great point. Good. So what sources do you use to engage and learn about making the most? So do y'all go online? Do you have a financial planner? What is it that y'all do that you rely on to get your information? Is it the web? Is it through the web? Is it? Holler out at me. Yes, sir. Financial. Right. That kind of media? Yes, sir. SHIP program. Yay! Give them a round of applause. They're going to be here later today. They're fantastic. All right. What kind of information or content would you most appreciate receiving from NCRGEA? Again, we're just trying to get some idea. We get our newsletter, right? We like the newsletter, I think, right? Everybody like the newsletter? Yep, absolutely. Are there other things that we can get to you and get in your hands that you would appreciate as a retiree and help support you in your retirement? Changes in tax law, so we can give you an update every year something happens, right? That's a great point. We should be able to get that information for you in a readable, understandable form, right? Now that might be a little harder to do, but we can definitely look at that. Absolutely. Okay, that's good. Tips, right? Some tips on picking a financial advisor. That's great. Yes, ma'am. Right. I believe these are services the credit union provides as well. But we need to have that out there for you so you know where to go, right? And provide it. Gotcha. All right. I think that's the end of our slides here. So we've rolled through our strategic plan. This plan, and Martha Sue's going to come up and speak with us in just a minute, but Martha Sue's our vice president of the association. And we started this process, and Martha Sue, you understand why I'm saying this, she stood up and said, this was on Zoom, but she said, I don't want this plan to go on a shelf. How many of you participated in the strategic planning process when you were engaged? Every time, you know, you get a year or two in, and all of a sudden, where's that plan? We got to go figure out what we were supposed to do. This is actually, we're integrating this whole plan into our whole organization. We're doing it in our district meetings, but also from a staff perspective, we're reorganizing to address the needs of the strategic plan. We've got a 3-year plan that we're looking at, and we're going to provide it on our website so you can track along about how well we're doing and what we're achieving and how we're moving forward with the strategic effort. So one thing I think you can rely on is it's not going on the shelf. This won't be the last time you hear from it. You'll be continuing to hear from us, and you'll be seeing improvements all across the board from our interaction with you, from our website information, and our service to you. Martha Sue, if you'll come up and give us a few words, we would appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard, and I get to take this off. Yay! Just for a second. Thanks to each of you for being with us today. I do feel like I'm in a Baptist church right now, though, because I'm here and y'all are a long way off. A long way off. First of all, a little bit about who am I, because as I was going around bouncing from table to table a while ago with my little Hoka tennis shoes on, folks were thinking, who in the world is this person? I did have a name tag on, but it just says who. I'm just Martha Sue. I'm the first person that you've seen this morning who is not a paid employee of the North Carolina Retired Government Employees Association or a contract employee. I am one of you. I am a retired state employee. I retired from the Administrative Office of the Courts in 2014, and I'm one of those folks that Treasurer Darrell Falwell does not like, because I hope to be able to get 30 years out of my retirement, just like I gave 30 years into the system. I'm also one of each of you because, in a certain way, I was a county commissioner in Stanley County for 2 terms back in the 90s. I was just a child then, I will promise you that. And I have been on city council in Albemarle now since 2003, having served as mayor pro tem for the last 6 or so years. So I have a love for public service and public servants. So thanks to each of you for being here. Now, I know the answer to this because I made it a point to find out what each of you did. How many of you in here worked for any city in North Carolina? Very good, 1. How about any county employees, any county retirees? Worked for DSS or for the health department? Very good. Now the rest of you, how many of you were state retirees, worked for the state in some form? Very good. Now there's another group in here, and it's the plus ones. And you're thinking, what is plus 1? Plus 1 is the guest among us. How many guests do we have here today? Guest. Thank you to each of you for your support of the employee that you are with, because you have given them during their tenure some time and some support. So thank you so much. Now, back to what I'm supposed to be doing. We did spend a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of Zoom meetings on this strategic plan. I'm here to give to you what each of you can do to make this strategic plan work. What is it that each of you can do? The very first thing is in your bag. Richard, what color is their sheet today? Donna, what color is their sheet today? Is it purple? So there is a purple or lavender sheet in your bag. Very good. I see it coming out. One of the things that I want each of you to do is to think of someone that you can share this association with. Put their name on that form. Right now we have 330,000 state, city, and county employees in North Carolina. This association has a little over 60,000. We've got 20% of our market. So there's a lot of us out there who don't know about us or who have chosen not to be a member of us. We need to each one reach one. Before you leave, put their name and some type of identifying information on the bottom of that sheet. While you got that sheet out, please make sure that we have your email address. Now, if you're getting emails from us already, that's okay. But make sure that if you are not, that we have your email address. We need those because just as Richard was talking about earlier, we live in a digital age right now and are trying to communicate effectively and efficiently through, on a timely manner through the computer. You heard Darrell talk about the advisory boards. And I think at least 14 of the 40 that are here today, 14 of you all raised your hands when you said you would like to know or to volunteer, okay? That is what these advisory boards are going to do. It's going to be whatever you in your area, whether it be in this county or over in Buncombe County or wherever, this is going to be your advisory committee where you are going to put your times and your talent to work in your community as part of this association. So whenever that plea comes out for community advisory committee members, please, please, please sign up for that. We heard a bit ago about the financial planner webinar that somebody wants. We have a whole council of state guys and ladies in here who do things on a regular basis who've got video webinars attached to what they do. I'm hoping that we copy and steal those and put them on our website so that we are truly the go-to organization for any retiree if they want to find out what's going on for them or with them in the state of North Carolina. They go to our website. One of the two last things, when you get an email plea from the association office or from Richard himself saying, please do such and such, please contact your member of the General Assembly, please whatever, please do that. Because I will tell you, and I just tell you from a little stand as a local elected official, I'd much rather hear, though I don't like to hear people complain, I'd much rather hear from 10 people about an issue than one person, because I know that more folks are involved in it. So if Richard says, will you please call your member of the General Assembly and ask them why they're not supporting a COLA, then please do that. It is much more effective coming from us than it is coming from a paid staff right there in the Beltline. Lastly, in my opinion, and one of the things that we hope to do as part of this strategic plan, is to continue to emphasize the importance of public servants and public service. Each of you, whether it was the tax assessor or the person that kept our lights on or the person that worked in the wastewater treatment plant or the bus driver or the cafeteria worker or the person or the people that worked at Western Carolina or those many school teachers that are in here, each of you is a public servant. You chose years ago to take that route, okay? There are people out there that don't support what public servants do or have done. They think it's just, if they can't get a job anywhere else, they go to work for public servant, for public service. And that indeed is an untruth. We have got to support the importance of what it is each of us did and what is continuing to be done by our city, county, and state employees. Reminder to please fill out that purple sheet, okay? And the last thing, the very last thing I want to tell you is, I don't know if any of you have access to an Office Depot in your communities, but if you do, one of the best free opportunities you have is in your bag. It is an Office Depot card, and it will give you all kinds of discounts at Office Depot. I hate to admit it that ours in Albemarle closed about a year ago, and I think I caused it to go bankrupt because I, for years, went and did my copying and that kind of thing, and when they gave me their discounts, I don't even think it was enough to pay for the paper. Thanks so much to each of you for being here today. I appreciate your time, and I encourage you to really get involved because we are going to be as strong as each of us makes this organization. Thanks so much.
Martha Sue, thank you so much. We're going to move on down the agenda now. Next up is Greta with the Local Government Federal Credit Union is going to come up and give you a little overview of the services that they provide their members. So Greta, come on up.
Hi there. My name is Greta Gibson, and I'm with Local Government Federal Credit Union. And LGFCU is a not-for-profit, and our mission is to improve the lives of our members. Okay, so people who work or volunteer for a city, town, village, county, or if they're an elected official or an appointed official, are eligible at LGFCU. Once you become a member, you can invite your family members to join as well. When you become a member of LGFCU, you also become an owner of the credit union. So instead of us going out and looking for shareholders that we can pay stock prices to, we pay our members by offering lower rates on loans and higher rates on deposits when possible. We have a cooperative agreement with State Employees Credit Union. So what this means is our members go to the State Employee Credit Union for services, even though we're two separate entities. So some of you came around to the booth and you said, oh, I know State Employees Credit Union. Well, back in the day, we used to be a part of State Employees Credit Union. Everybody used to be together. But some auditors came in and said, hey, if you work for local government, you don't work for state government. So we had to separate, but we didn't have anywhere to go. So we have a cooperative agreement with State Employees Credit Union. There are some advantages to dual membership, but the biggest one to you all in this room is if you're not a member, say you worked for the state and you're not a member of State Employees Credit Union, and you volunteer for maybe a library or an animal shelter in your area, you can then become a member of the credit union and extend that membership to your family members. LGFCU offers all the traditional products you expect to find at a financial institution. And you can see here, the share account is a savings account. That's our credit union language there. But you see we've included the children's account. So one of the perks is you can extend membership to your children and your grandchildren. And so they can start out their financial experience at a credit union where the goal is to help them be financially responsible all their life. Also, if someone's transitioning and they need somewhere to put their retirement money, we have those IRAs for folks. So I want to talk about lending for just a minute because this is where a credit union can really help you or people in your family if they've had some life happen to them, right? So if you feel your credit score prevents you or a family member from getting a good rate, buying a house or getting a car, or maybe just getting that loan that would make all the difference in that family life, you can come to the credit union and we can see if we can work on a plan to get that loan approved. But we also have a group of volunteers who don't work for the credit union, and they listen to the story, and they can approve a loan that a bank or the credit union would not typically approve. So let me give you an example. Pretend I went through a horrible divorce and I was the stay-at-home mom. So now I've just gone back to work and I have no credit history, or maybe the divorce ruined my credit history. I can go to the credit union and explain what happened, and maybe I'm thinking about buying a house, and I can show them that I would have to pay $1,600 to rent a house, but I could buy a house for $800 a month. And so that group of volunteers could approve that, and boy, what an impact that would have on my life to have that opportunity to start off with something I can afford versus struggling to make that loan payment. Also, at LGFCU, everybody gets the same interest rate regardless of your credit score. And that even counts towards credit cards because our goal is helping people get to their financial freedom. So say someone in your family is paying 24% on a credit card, they could transfer that to, say our rate is 12%, they could transfer that balance with no fee for doing so because our goal is to get them debt-free. And then also we don't charge PMI. So when people don't have 20% to put down on a mortgage, they have to pay private mortgage insurance most of the time. And we don't do that. We even finance 100% of a mortgage. And if you're buying a car, we'll even finance more than 100% on a car. And if you don't like to shop for cars, we'll even go out and find the car for you, and all you have to do is show up at the credit union and pick it up. You can take advantage of, I forgot to advance that, okay. You can take advantage of your membership and shop for insurance. So sometimes you can get a better deal through our cooperative agreements. Oh, I've gotten this messed up. Let's see, I'm sorry, guys. Technology is not my thing. I need a lesson on that. We also have, and some of this is what you all were talking about just a minute ago, on our website, and you can feel free to poach some of these or put a link to it. We have some videos about wills and financial decisions that you might need to make. But you also can go into a branch and take advantage of free financial counseling. We have tax services, so if you need to have your taxes done, everybody pays the same amount at the credit union to have their taxes done. We have a program where you can sit down with an attorney in our branch. It is a paid service, but it's at a fraction of the cost of what you would pay to go to an attorney's office, and you can work on your will with them. They print it out, they do everything right there in the office. With that, it also comes with someone mentioned a trust account. It also comes with the trust provisions. And the reason why you might want to take advantage of that at the credit union is if you're leaving money to a minor child or someone that needs a caregiver, what you want to do is put it in a trust so that it prevents it from that money from being used to buy a second home or a new car or getting lost in a divorce. Also, our members take advantage of a budgeting tool called Compass online for free without worrying about their data being sold. We also have all the services that you come to expect in a financial institution, but we have 3 scholarships. If you or someone that is in your family is going to go back to school for their undergraduate degree, they can apply for a $5,000 scholarship. We have some School of Government scholarships and law enforcement scholarships. If you want to become a member, you just take $25 to a state employee credit union branch, and you show them, if you work for a local government still, you show them your badge. If you volunteer, you show them a little paper that says that you volunteer, and then you can join. But you can always use our resources on lgfcu.org for more information. So I'll be out at the table. I have some free stuff. If you want to come by and visit with me, I'd love to talk to you.
Greta, thank you so much for that. We certainly appreciate it. So, folks, we have a special guest here today. Treasurer Falwell is joining us, and he's going to provide a few brief comments to you about his work. We'll also have the pleasure of having his wife, Cynthia, here as well. We appreciate him being here and giving us some of his thoughts on the state of the retirement system and the health plan. Del Falwell, CPA, was sworn in to the office of State Treasurer in January of 2017. He is serving in his second term. He oversees that $124 billion retirement system that he manages, overseeing it for more than 1 million people of local, state, elected, local, state, and retirees of our state. Under Falwell's leadership, the pension plan is rated among the top 5 highest funded in the country. It's won accolades for the practice of management and funding discipline. In 2018, the state's coveted triple-A bond rating was reaffirmed by major rating agencies, making North Carolina only one of 13 states in the country that hold this distinction. And this is very important to keeping interest rates down on loans and government loans and things of that nature. Falwell was first elected to public office as a member of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Board of Education. He also has been elected to the General Assembly, serving 4 terms. One term as the I get this wrong every time, Speaker Pro Tem of the House. He don't want anything to do with the Senate, I don't think. And he served us well there. He is also oversees in his role as the state treasurer the state health plan as well. Treasurer Falwell began his career as a blue-collar worker and became the certified public accountant and investment advisor after earning bachelor's and master's degree in accounting from UNC Greensboro. As I mentioned, he has his wife Cynthia here. They've been married for 30 years and have 3 children that live in Winston-Salem along with them. So, Treasurer, come on up. Welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Good morning. Thank you, Richard. Can you hear me in the back okay? Great. It's great to be excuse me. Okay, there we go. I'm a really good motorcycle mechanic, but I'm not very good on microphones. So it's really great to be with you, and Richard and your staff. Thank you for all that you've done. It's great to see Martha Sue here and her family, and we've had a long-standing relationship. So when she said earlier she was buzzing around the tables, I've witnessed that for the last 15 years. So and whether she's wearing high heels or tennis shoes, she can buzz either way. But some of you may not be familiar with a congressman from the Greensboro area. His name was Howard Coble. And if you remember Congressman Coble, he had the distinction of being the only member of Congress who refused his Social Security check while he was serving, because he did not think the government should pay him twice. That's the true definition of a public servant. And because he was a congressman, a lot of people knew who he was, but I just want to say to all of you in this audience who have taught, who have protected, or have otherwise served, thank you for your public service. Thank you. And not only you, but your spouses. It doesn't matter if you're a school teacher or a corrections officer, a police officer, or any other public servant. It's really the spouses that put up with a lot dealing with public servants, and I want to applaud my spouse, Cynthia, for doing so also. But Howard Coble would go home to Burlington, North Carolina, and his mom would fix this big plate of food for him, and Howard would look at Mrs. Coble and say, "Thank you." And Mrs. Coble would look at him sternly and say, "It just didn't jump up on the table by itself." These events, these vendors, the people that actually came to work here today in this facility, and I'm going to talk about the employment crisis in just a moment, that just didn't jump up on the table by itself. So I know there's no servers in here right now, but when they do come in for lunch, I hope that you'll also give them a round of applause. Now, over the next few minutes, I could get emotional. There are things happening in our world right now that are worth getting emotional about. I will not be getting political, and the reason is that everything that's dividing our country right now, whether it's in Cherokee or Raleigh or Beaufort, where I spoke just a couple of days ago, so I've crisscrossed the state twice in the last 5 days. It doesn't matter where you are. The fact is, the thing dividing this country right now are Republicans, Democrats, independents, libertarians, differences in gender and differences in race. There is none of that at the Treasurer's office. Everything at the Treasurer's office is green. We do not, thank you. The reason I say that is that we have to make thousands of split-second decisions every day. The reason it's thousands of split-second decisions every day is that as the keepers of your public purse, this pension plan just by itself is 5 times larger than the state budget that's currently being debated. Just the pension plan is the 27th largest pool of public money in the entire world. And the pension plan is only half of what we do at your treasurer's office. So someone asked me when I was teaching an elementary school class the other day, do I sign the $1 bill? And because that's where people most often see the word treasurer is on money. So I don't sign the $1 bill, but as I said, we manage 250 billion $1 bills. That is 10 times the size of the state budget. And I'm saying all this to you in context of what I said a few moments ago, because the blood that runs through me is Quaker. And one of the spices of the Quaker religion, and by the way, the church that I'm affiliated with is from L.A., North Carolina. Does anybody know where L.A., North Carolina is? It's Lower Archdale. It's right below High Point. But the church I'm affiliated with, one of the spices of the Quaker religion is to be fair and just. We do not pick and choose which laws to apply, and we do not pick and choose who to apply them to. Because of all the things that are dividing our society right now, everything at the Treasurer's office is green. And we always focus on one, the number one. If one person is getting a benefit off of these benefit plans that doesn't deserve it, that's one too many. If one person is not getting their benefit correctly and quickly, that's also one too many. So we focus on the number one. So let's get into the meat of it. And if math makes you nauseous, you probably should take a break, because I'm getting ready to talk about a lot of math. So we won't be getting emotional, hopefully, won't be getting political, but we'll be getting highly mathematical. Your pension plan is one of the strongest pension plans, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. I say that to you, and I'm standing on the shoulders of the people who work in Raleigh at the Investment Management Division, but also previous state treasurers, starting with State Treasurer Harlan Bowles, who this very lapel pin belonged to. And from Treasurer Gill, Treasurer Bowles, Treasurer Moore, Cowell, and now Falwell, you are participating in one of the strongest pension plans in the United States. As a matter of fact, your pension plan is nearly 88% funded. The South Carolina pension plan is 62% funded. The Alabama system is 65% funded. One of the general government Kentucky retirement systems is 20% funded. So it is scary, and now you know why I talk the way I do and why I'm serious about these things. The reason I say all that to you is that even though your pension plan is one of the best funded in the United States, it has some headwinds. Now, you're not going to be able to see this from the back, but it's probably a good thing, because that blue line that goes way up and way down, those are interest rates over the last 50 years. And if you're like me, you may have bought your first house somewhere up here when interest rates were at 10%. Young people just can't believe that interest rates on mortgages used to be 12% for a very short period of time. The reason I'm drawing your attention to this blue line in interest rates is that when you're the state treasurer, it's pretty dang easy to be the state treasurer when you can put the money in government bonds yielding 10%, and you only need to earn 7% to make the benefit perk. But as you know, interest rates aren't at 10% anymore, they're at 0. Now, when you have $45 billion of your money invested in things that earn interest, that makes it pretty difficult. You're part of one of the safest plans in the world, but it's one of the headwinds that we have to work with. The second line, which you won't be able to see at all, is early retirements. Decades ago, as you know, the early retirement age was taken out of the pension plan. So people can retire after they get their years of service. So what we have now going on, when you combine that with the third headwind, which is life expectancy, and by the way, let me just be clear, low interest rates are a blessing for starting a business, buying a home, investing in your mind. Low interest rates are a blessing, except with the pension plan. People having the opportunity to retire early is a blessing, except with the pension plan. And then when we combine that with life expectancies, you can see why I talk the way I do and say the things that I say, because these are mathematical headwinds. These are not emotional headwinds. These are not political headwinds. It's just math. As a matter of fact, if you're a female and you're 21 years of age, any of those in the room today? Okay. There's one that acts 21. There's one here that acts 21, I know for a fact. Okay. So if you're 21 years of age and you come to work for the state, you could literally draw more retirement checks than paychecks. My point, the 21-year-old clapped. So my point of telling that to you is that this plan was never designed for interest rates to be this low, for people to retire this early, or to live this long. When I was in high school in the late 70s, where I barely got out of high school in Winston-Salem, there were 300 retirees over the age of 90 who were drawing a pension check. 300. Last month, 7,000. That's right. I can read your lips even through that mask. You're probably saying, "Are you serious?" So we have gone from 300 people over the age of 90 drawing a pension check to now over 7,000. The other thing that has occurred, and I used to stutter, so I need to make sure I say this slowly. For the first time in your history, in your life, as far as this pension plan is concerned, there are less people paying into the plan than are not. Does that mean that everyone who's not paying in is getting a retirement check? No. There's about 200,000 people who are vested in the plan but not yet old enough to draw. But this, for the first time in state history, there are less people paying into the pension plan than are not. and these are some of the headwinds. So what do we do about that? Well, we can't control what the stock market does, but what we can control are the expenses of the pension plan. Now, this is probably why I struggled so mightily in grammar school and why I didn't get to go to college till I was 22. I thought being in the 0 percentile was a good thing, but it's not. You teachers already know that. But your pension plan just got scored by CEM benchmarking, this report here. It took all the pension plans that are your size from around the world, and it determined that your pension plan is the lowest cost pension plan in the universe. Right here is the 0 percentile. And I'm very proud of that because every dollar that's spent on Wall Street fees is a dollar that can never be spent for a benefit or anything else. So this is a very serious matter, and we're fortunate we've cut $400 million in Wall Street fees out of the pension plan just in the last 4 years. We found one money manager. We have a 2-story building, pensions on 2, healthcare's on 1. We had one money manager who was managing money for us in both the second and the first floor, who was not giving us the benefit of the totality of our relationship. And they were charging us $2.5 million more per year for a number of years that they shouldn't have been charging. So as your state treasurer and keeper of your public purse, what we do is we focus on the pennies and the paper clips. Now I'm going to talk about health care. Health care is a cartel. Now, that's a very strong word, but I think you know that, especially now in Western North Carolina. And by the way, the people in Western North Carolina live closer to 5 other state capitals than they do Raleigh. If we all got in vehicles and 4 of you went to go and to get to another state capital, you could all get there quicker than the person who drives to Raleigh. So my point of saying this to you is that when people talk about Western North Carolina, they talk about Asheville. There's a whole part of Western North Carolina beyond Asheville. And if you ride and enjoy motorcycles if you ride and enjoy motorcycles like I do, you know that's exactly correct. So, is this water?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. It's a good thing. So when we talk about cartel, I used to stutter, as I said earlier. If you go to the Webster's Dictionary, cartel is defined as an association which is formed to restrict competition or raise prices. So as I'm getting ready to talk about health care, I want you to know a little bit of a personal story. In the 3rd week of March of last year, not this year, I was one of the early contractors of COVID. Now, my wife sometimes accuses me of saying things as if I'm a doctor. My initials are Dr. Falwell, but I'm not a doctor. But I happen to know from living through this that when your blood ox level is 83, while you're consuming 8 liters of oxygen in intensive care, you're in bad shape. My chances of living in March of 2020, when anyone really knew much about COVID, were less than 20%. So I'm blessed to be here, but as I talk about these issues, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about the people who took care of me, the people who squeezed my hand and got me through that process, including my family. What I'm talking about is the multi-million-dollar executives who are parts of these multi-billion-dollar nonprofit organizations that continue to drive down the quality of health care, drive down the access to health care, and drive up the cost of health care. I can't believe it, but I normally bring 165 pages of redacted material and show people. When I attempted to find out what I was paying on your behalf for health care, UNC Healthcare sent me 165 pages, and every page was blacked out. This is an industry that operates in secrecy. And just in the last 6 weeks, there's been a major lawsuit filed out of the Graham and Wallace in Salisbury, North Carolina, against HCA Mission Health because of what has happened to the cost of health care to you over the last 2 years since this merger came through. So this is a big deal. Let me just share with you very quickly what we're talking about and why should this matter. As good as the pension plan is, the health plan is just as insolvent. And by the way, let me be clear about the headwinds on the pension plan. I said it yesterday, I say it today, and I'll say it tomorrow. As long as I'm the keeper of your public purse and the state treasurer of North Carolina, I'm going to preserve, I'm going to strengthen, but I'm going to figure out a way to sustain this pension plan for the next generation of public service workers. So, thank you. So, as insolvent as the health plan, as the health plan, when I became the state treasurer, I inherited a $34 billion unfunded liability. Those of you who are state employees should be asking yourself, how could the treasurer be saying one's one of the best and one's one of the worst? And the answer is mathematical. For 43 years, when promises were made to retirees to be eligible for lifetime health care, no money was ever put aside for that liability. In the pension plan, every 30 days, money came out of your hip pocket. That went into the plan. Your employer put money in every 30 days, and that money got invested, and that grew, and that's what's the reason that you have such a great pension plan. But that did not happen with the state health plan. So this is a very serious matter, and so what we're trying to do about it is we're trying to break the cartel. Just in the Wall Street Journal recently, there was an article that one medical procedure at one hospital can cost between $6,000 and $60,000. The exact same procedure. And if you read in the article, you know why it says that? It's based on the type of insurance card that you have. Can you imagine how indignant you would be and how discriminatory it would be if two of you left this magnificent conference today, you both went to the same McDonald's, and you both ordered the exact same thing, and one of you was charged a different price than the other based on what type of credit cards you have. This is unacceptable that people are charged different prices for health care. So we're trying to get to the bottom of that. I'm getting my Carol Burnett, so I just want to mention three other quick things. You didn't do your ear like that? So, okay. Number one, this is a report from the state auditor of North Carolina, from the different political party. 10 years ago, this is Auditor Beth Wood's audit, and it says the state health plan, your state health plan, is at risk for overpaying. The treasurer never wants to hear from the auditor, nor should you, that we're overpaying for anything. But in her report, it says that the state health plan is at risk, bad word, for overpaying, a bad word, for medical benefits because the state auditors nor the plan auditors have access to the contracts and cannot verify that the state and you are receiving the proper contractual discounts. The state auditor, Beth Wood, said this 10 years ago. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to take advantage of our largeness, get rid of secret contracts, and push the power down to the consumer. Yesterday was Senior Citizen Day at Food Line. Today is Senior Citizen Day at Harris Teeter. My point of telling you that is that if you give people the tools, the information, and the power, and you push that power to them, they can figure out the quality and the value and the price of what they're getting. So what we've done about this over the last 4 years is, number one, we just renegotiated a fantastic contract with Humana. Now, any of you have ever been involved in the contracting process, you know that there's RFPs, it's all very regimented, you have scores. State treasurer actually is not even involved until the very final score comes out. But we just negotiated a contract with Humana, zero cost to the member, $4 a month cost to the dependent, no charge to the state health plan. $1 billion of savings for that Humana contract. I need all of you to choose the Humana Medicare Advantage, even if you want to pay a little bit to get the enhanced Medicare Humana Advantage. Every dollar that we save by people our age choosing the Humana Medicare Advantage product is a dollar that we're going to use at the state health plan to lower family premiums. I know it's hard to think back when you were 25 years old, but the fact is that we have 25-year-olds right now who are struggling to pay the family premium. They're having to work 1 week out of every 4 to pay the family premium. These folks are making decisions between premium and mortgage, energy and mortgage, food and mortgage, living their life and mortgage. It's ridiculous that the biggest purchaser of health care in North Carolina, which is all of us with the state health plan, cannot do it better and cheaper, especially on behalf of the family premium. So when you make a choice to join Humana Medicare Advantage, we're going to take the savings of your choice and we're actually going to be lowering family premiums. We have frozen family premiums for 5 straight years. Healthcare costs, I just got the report an hour ago. Our healthcare costs are going up 9% a year. The General Assembly is only funding us at 4% a year. You don't have to be a CPA to know if your costs are going up 9 and you're only getting funded 4, eventually you're going to be upside down. That's why this is so important for you to really deeply consider the Humana Medicare Advantage product. Nearly 87% of the retirees in this state have chosen Humana Medicare Advantage product, and I hope you'll do the same. I'm going to close by telling you that I appreciate you coming out today and making all this possible. I'll also tell you that I'm very concerned and really actually disgusted about the politicization of masks and vaccines in this country. I just can't imagine that we're at the place we are when this disease doesn't care what color you are, what political party you are, what gender you are. That we're at this place. And if you're a country music lover like I am, you might remember the Jamie Johnson song of 9 years ago, You Should Have Seen It in Color. It's a beautiful song about a gentleman who lived through the Depression, served in World War II, married his high school sweetheart, lost her after decades of marriage. And obviously he's thumbing through a photo album of black and white pictures. But the song says, you should have seen it in color. I've seen COVID in color. And I can tell you that as long as this disease exists, it's going to create death, it's going to create illiteracy, people not being able to get educated, and it's going to create poverty. So the politicization of masks and vaccines is just something that's just bizarre to me. The last thing I want to leave you with, because this is a little bit like a country music song, I've tried to build you up and then I burnt you down, then I'm going to build you back up. I'm going to be handing out some cards in a moment from one of our divisions called nccash.com. nccash.com is not a gimmick. There's $941 million sitting at nccash.com. There are 100 cities, Martha Joe, who have money at nccash.com. Cities. I just presented money to the city of Charlotte, but I'm going to hand out some cards. Hopefully you won't look at your phones while people are speaking, but if you go to nccash.com, punch up your name, your maiden name, your kid's name. There's $1 million that belongs to churches. There's 3 million businesses that have money at nccash.com. I just presented $80,000 to a trucking company, $2,500 to the Panthers. Go to nccash.com. There's no charge to look up your name and no charge to get what's owed you. How did it get there? It got there because somebody tried to mail you a check and you never received it. If somebody mails you a check and you never received it, financial institutions are supposed to send it to the treasurer's office. Now, I can't tell with all the masks on, but it looks like everybody's in pretty good shape today. But in the unlikely event that you're missing any of these 4 items, you might also find those at nccash.com. Baby teeth, silver teeth, gold teeth, and false teeth. I am looking for a partial, but I haven't found it there yet. The reason I say that is that you bankers may know this, the abandoned lock boxes of North Carolina at banks, all the contents get sent to the treasurer's office. And you can imagine what people my age and above used to put in lock boxes. To be far more reverent, we were able to return some World War II medals recently to a family who'd been looking for them for 15 years, a Purple Heart, a watch that had Woodrow Wilson's name inscribed on it. and a stock certificate that was given to a lady 43 years ago. And across the top of the stock certificate, it said, "Because I think you'll be a star one day." It was $100 worth of Paramount Studios stock. $100 worth. But Paramount Studios got bought out by Coca-Cola 32 years ago. Coca-Cola stock split 6 times since in that year. And that $100 stock certificate became to be worth $29,000. So another valuable reason for you to go to this great conference is to go to nccash.com. And if you want any more information about your pension or your health care, go to the nctreasurer.com. And please consider, for the benefit of the next generation of public service workers who are paying the high family premiums, please consider choosing the zero-cost, $4 a month dependent option of Humana Medicare Advantage. My last name is Falwell. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. God bless you. Richard has learned not to leave any of his papers when I come up and speak, because I have a habit of just scooping everything up and walking out with it. So, smart man.
I got it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Treasurer Falwell, thank you so much for attending. We certainly appreciate it. Give you another round of applause. So now we're going to do a little breakout session. Local government retirees, we have another place. You get to take a little, get to stretch your legs a little bit, and you'll be going to the Hickory Room. If you go down, go out this door, take a left, and go down the hallway, you'll see a sign that says Hickory, and you'll want to take that room, take a left, and go all the way to the end of the hall, and there's a room in there. And what we're going to have for you there is the SHIP program is going to do a little overview of Medicare for you, as well as Humana will be there as well to give you a little overview of an offering they have for our local government retirees. Now, state and teacher retirees, stay in here, and we're going to have a presentation by the state health plan, and also Humana is going to come in as well. And for you folks online, we're going to stay in here and get an overview of the health plan. We will have a recording of the session in the local government. Will be posted on our website early next week if you want to take a look at that. So we'll take just a brief pause, make that transition. Thank you. So by the way, I got one of Treasurer Falwell's cards on NC Cash, and I don't think it was while he was speaking, but I looked it up and I actually got myself $30. So it's there. Just you need to take advantage of it.
not? Oh, okay. I was going to say. Well, was showing me on the screen. I saw that. It's supposed to be the PowerPoint. We're just like listen, people. You're not putting. Don't mess with me today. That's not going to say. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Roberta Hamby, and I'm with the North Carolina State Health Plan. We'd like to thank everyone for allowing us to come and speak with you about our upcoming open enrollment and the plan options for 2022. Now, our open enrollment will begin October 11th and run through October the 29th. During today's presentation, we'll talk about the different plan options that are available to you, as well as the Medicare Advantage plans. We will be taking a deeper dive into those plan options, and Krista Klein with Humana will speak with you about the plan options under Humana. Then I'll speak about the 70-30 plan and how it works with Medicare. And we'll again address open enrollment, what options you will have, and how to make changes if you want to make a change for 2022. We'll also take a quick look at the premium rates for 2022. Now for 2022, the Medicare primary plan options, we will continue to offer the 3 plan options: the Humana Group Medicare Advantage Base Plan and the Humana Group Medicare Advantage Enhanced Plan, and then the 70-30 PPO plan that is administered by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. As you can see that the Humana plans, both the base and the enhanced plan, are reflected as a 90-10 plan. Now, this means that there has been an evaluation conducted of these 2 plan options, and they have a benefit value that is equivalent to a 90-10 plan. And we'll speak more about that in just a few minutes. But for 2022 benefit year, you will remain in the plan option that you currently have in place. It will roll over for 2022. So you will only need to take action if you want to make a change for 2022, or if you have a dependent who is not yet Medicare eligible and they're on the 80-20 plan. Those individuals will be defaulted to the 70-30 plan, and you would have to re-elect the 80-20 plan for those individuals who are not yet Medicare eligible. Now, in regards to some highlights for the 2022 Humana plan options for the base and the enhanced plan, there's actually no major changes to the benefits within either of these plan options. The co-payments, co-insurance, and the maximum out-of-pocket limits will remain as they are today. Now, as with any insurance plan, there are changes coming relative to the formulary or the list of drugs that are covered by Humana. And this is after an analysis is done each year. Plan options will make adjustments to their formularies. So we do encourage you to verify with Humana that your medications are being covered and what co-payment will apply to that medication for next year. Now, in regards to the 70-30 plan and the 80-20 PPO plan options, again, there are no major benefit changes to these plan options. The co-payments, co-insurance, the deductibles, the maximum out-of-pocket limits will remain the same. Now, with these plan options, though, the formulary or the list of drugs that are covered does change on a quarterly basis. And for those of you that are on these plan options, you should be aware of that already, but you want to make sure you stay in tune to those changes each quarter. Now, we will continue to offer the reduced co-pays under the 70/30 and the 80/20 plan options for members who are seeking services from clear pricing project providers for the primary care provider and specialist. Now, in regards to some reminders about the group Medicare Advantage plan options, we currently have more than 80% of the state health plan's Medicare members that are already covered under the Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan options. We would like to encourage anyone who is currently on our 70/30 plan to take a closer look at the Humana plan options for 2022. As I mentioned earlier, they do have a benefit value that is equivalent to a 90/10 plan, which could be significant savings for you in your pocketbook. Now, when we mention that it's a benefit value equivalent to a 90/10 plan, it does not mean that it is exactly a 90/10 plan. You will still have co-payments, co-insurance that are applicable for medical services and for pharmacy services under these plan options. But overall, your total out-of-pocket costs should not be any more than what it would be if it was a 90/10 plan. Now, with the Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan options, these are different because they are group than what you are seeing advertised on the TV or in the mailings that you're receiving or the telephone calls that you're receiving from agents concerning the upcoming Medicare open enrollment period. Now, with the plan options under the Humana Group plans, these are more comprehensive plans than what the ones advertised on TV. The ones on TV generally will have a stricter network. You do not have the ability to go in and out of network. And they also typically will have a higher maximum out-of-pocket limit. Things to keep in mind as you're listening to those commercials on TV. Now, eligible members for 2022 are going to continue to have the Humana Group Medicare Advantage base plan as a premium-free option, and we will continue to offer the Humana Group Medicare Advantage base plan to eligible dependents for a $4 a month premium. Now, when you are enrolled in one of the Humana Group Medicare Advantage plan options, you do have to maintain your Medicare Part A and your Medicare Part B. It has to continue to be paid out of your Social Security benefits or by your quarterly billing statement that you receive from the federal government. Now, once you are enrolled in these, remember that Humana is the company that's going to be paying all of the claims. They would be the ones processing the claims on behalf of the federal government. They've assumed that financial risk from the federal government. So you're still considered to be in the Medicare program. However, you do not have original Medicare. But you do get to retain the same rights and protections as someone who is in original Medicare. Under a Medicare Advantage plan, you do have the simplicity and the predictability of that plan. And what we mean by this is you would only utilize Humana's ID card when you're seeking medical or pharmacy services. Your red, white, and blue Medicare card, that identifies you as having original Medicare, so just keep that tucked away. Now, what we mean by predictability is the fact that you have co-payment-driven plans with Humana, meaning that almost every type of medical service or pharmacy service, you're going to have established co-payments. So you'll know what your co-payment is going to be when you walk into that doctor's office or into the emergency room. You'll know up front what you can expect to have to pay for that visit. Now, these plans do include a passive network or an open network. That is the flexibility of being in a group plan. We have retirees in almost every state, so we did have to have that flexibility to be able to go in and out of network. So as long as your out-of-network doctor accepts Medicare, participates with Medicare, and will agree to accept your insurance, then you should be able to continue to see that physician. We get questioned quite a bit about whether or not you can have the Humana plans and have other insurance in place. Normally, you would not have a need to have other insurance in place, but there are some situations where we're fully aware our retirees do have other insurance. So this slide talks about this subject. Now, with the Humana plan options, these are federally regulated. So there are federal guidelines that Humana and the state health plan must follow. One of these is the fact that you cannot be in multiple Medicare health plans at the same time. So that means you cannot be enrolled in the Humana plan and then enroll yourself into another Medicare Advantage plan or even a Medicare prescription drug plan. If that occurs, then the Medicare system will bump you out of the Humana group Medicare Advantage plan option under the state health plan's umbrella. Now, if that happens, it's not removing you as a member of the state health plan. It simply removes you from that plan option. So what we would do is automatically move you over to the 70/30 plan because it is not a Medicare health plan. Now, it doesn't seem like that's a big deal, but if you're the spouse who went rogue and enrolled in another Medicare Advantage plan, and now you're being bumped off of that Humana group $4 a month premium, and we place you on the 70/30 plan, your premium is now going to go up to $425 a month. So very, very important to be very cautious when you're enrolling in different plan options. Check with the state health plan before you make any type of decision as to enrolling in another option. So at this point, I'm going to turn the mic over to Krista Klein with Humana, and she'll speak to you concerning the plan options in more detail.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Roberta. Perfect. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Krista Klein, as Roberta introduced me. I have been with Humana for 22 years, so as I look out into the crowd, I want to be you a little sooner than I will be. So thank you for all of your years of service, state and local. Really an honor to be here. Honestly, extremely excited to be face-to-face. This is my first really traveling this year, so really excited to be here with you. Today, I'm going to cover a little bit more detail over your plan and your benefits. Also, just know I met several of you when you all came in, but after this presentation and during the remainder of the day, we will be at the table in the back. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions that you might have after we review this information. The other piece that I just want to share before I get rolling is, we did offer Humana Medicare Advantage plans before. You may have been a member with us before, but we are new again on 1/1 this past January, and the association did do a survey last month, and 89% of those respondents did say that they were satisfied or very satisfied with the Humana plan. So very happy to hear that, but just know that we will continue to chug away and every day go the extra mile. So again, real happy to be here. All right, well, let's do this here. There we go. All right, let's talk a little bit about Humana in general. So Humana is a national company. We have been doing Medicare for a very long time. So as you can see on the slide, we have 8.5 million Medicare members. And just like you, across all 50 states, like Roberta stated already, the state health plan has a member in every state as well. So from a Humana standpoint, we have you covered. Again, we've been providing Medicare plans to beneficiaries since 1987. From a national perspective and a network standpoint, we have over 810,000 providers and 3,400 hospitals. And in North Carolina alone, there's 7,000 primary care physicians, 11,000 specialists, and take off my readers. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh my goodness, my readers caught me. And 100, just shy of 100 hospitals. Also, what's extremely important is every Humana or every Medicare Advantage plan is rated by a star rating, and we're very proud to say that Humana has earned a 4-star or higher quality rating from Medicare. So we're very proud of that, and what that means to you is that we, from a quality standpoint, a provider standpoint, and customer service, are hitting all the measures that Medicare rates Medicare Advantage plans. Oh, I keep doing that. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your PPO benefits. These are. Did I go with that? Yeah, I think I did too. Uh-oh. Okay, awesome. So I just hit this one back? Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, everybody. We're all human. You just saw it happen. All righty. Well, let's talk about your PPO. It is unique, and I heard Roberta say this earlier. This is a special group plan just for the state health plan members. So I always like to say that because, like Roberta said as well, it's very different from the plans that you see advertised on the television. This plan, what's most different about it is you can go in or out of the network, and as long as you see a provider that accepts Medicare assignment, agrees to bill Humana, you don't have to worry about staying in network. And that is very unique. Most individual plans do not have this benefit design component. And it also gives you flexibility to keep the doctor that you've been going to probably for many years. Keep in mind too, there's no co-payment for preventive care. Also, there is a ceiling on the amount of money out of your pocket, commonly called the out-of-pocket maximum. And there also is worldwide emergency care. So if you are traveling and something unforeseen does happen, there is coverage for emergency services. Oh, look at that. I did it right this time. I'm feeling good. Alrighty. Again, like we stated before, your particular plan is very unique. Again, this means you do not need to find a new doctor. We do have some flyers on our back table, so like I suggested earlier, you might want to pick up a couple of these. I say that because since it's a unique special group plan, some doctors may just be a little unfamiliar at times, not often, but this is a nice handy one-page sheet that you can give to your provider, and it really explains to them that you can be in or out of the network, and the benefit remains the same. So it's always really nice to have that, so feel free to grab a few before you leave. If for any reason, and this happens rarely, but it can happen, so we want to make sure that you know this in advance. If a provider will not bill Humana, you can still go to that provider, again, as long as they accept Medicare, and pay out of your pocket and file a claim with Humana. So just know if that happens, first I would encourage you to call us before you go there, because a lot of times educating the provider, that's what we want to do. We're happy to do it. We can call the provider on your behalf. But if that happens and they still won't bill Humana, again, that doesn't happen often, but we want to make sure to arm you with the information. If it does, just be aware you can still then file a claim with Humana and get reimbursement. All right. There are extra benefits on the plan that I want to run through real quick. First, our routine vision services. On the base plan, it's a $40 copayment, and that is a one routine exam per year, includes refraction. On the enhanced plan, it's a $35 copay with the same one routine per year and including refraction. There's also routine podiatry services. Same copays apply, maximum of 6 combined visits per year. And routine hearing services is covered as well on the Humana Medicare Advantage plan, and that's a $0 copay for routine hearing exam, 1 per year. Also fitting evaluations as well, 1 per year. And then a $500 combined total allowance for hearing aids, up to 2 every 3 years, and that is all types. Routine chiropractic services are covered at a $20 copay, and private duty nursing, 20% of the cost at a $5,000 maximum benefit per year. From a COVID-19 services standpoint, testing is covered at 100%, and we do get the question about if that includes antibody testing, and the answer is yes. Also, treatment for members with COVID-19 diagnosis are also covered at 100%, and again, the vaccine is covered at 100% as well. Now, this slide actually goes into several benefits, extra benefits that are not covered by Medicare, but are covered on the Humana Medicare Advantage plan. The first is post-discharge transportation. So it's 100% coverage for plan-approved trips up to 12 one-way per facility discharge. So approved means we wouldn't take you to the casino. So, we would absolutely take you, where you need to be from a discharge standpoint, home, although the casino would probably be more fun. But there's also post-discharge in-home personal care. That is new for 2022, so there's a $0 copay for a minimum of 3 hours per day, up to a maximum of 6 hours for certain in-home daily activity type services that you may need a little bit extra help with after coming home from the hospital or a facility. Acupuncture as well is covered. It's a $40 copay and a $35 copay on the enhanced plan, and that's 20 combined visits per year. I want to run through some commonly asked questions real quick and plan reminders about the medical plan. So first and foremost, all of these that you see on the screen, so your durable medical equipment, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech, and also your advanced imaging, such as an MRI, do require authorization through the plan. And so when this happens, a lot of times, I know for me, when I've gone through situations like this, it can be just a little bit stressful. So what we want to do is share, we do work directly with your provider when one of these services is needed. And you'll also see on the screen all of the preferred providers for durable medical equipment. And again, this is oxygen, continuous glucose monitors, and walkers are examples of DME. We do have several preferred providers that we can route you to and help you get what you need as quickly as possible. Same for physical therapy as well, occupational and speech. So we do work with a trusted partner called Cohere that works with the providers to get the necessary information to get those services covered. And then also Health Help, we work directly with them and with the provider on any advanced imaging that needs to be authorized. I will share that if it's an urgent request, so your provider submitted that information to us and it needs to get approved quickly, it's typically 72 hours or less that authorization is approved or reviewed, I'll say it that way. So we just wanted to make you aware of that process and how that works. Also, if you do need to get a claim form, you can go to our custom website just for you, the state health plan members, at our.humana.com/NCSHP. You can also, anytime, call our dedicated call center. We do have folks that are standing by. They can help you and get you that claim form as soon as you need it. And it really also give you instructions on how to submit that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about pharmacy, commonly known as Part D coverage. We do have, again, a very vast network on the pharmacy side. So you have access to 66,000 national and regional chains. This includes many of your large retail pharmacies, such as your Walmart, your CVS, Walgreens, Harris Teeter, but we also have a very large network of local pharmacies as well. Keep in mind that any Medicare-covered drug is covered on the Humana Medicare Advantage plan, and this does include generic, your brand, your specialty drugs as well. Also, Part D vaccines, an example of that would be Shingrix, as an example, are covered at 100%. Now, this does exclude foreign travel vaccines. Also, it's good to note diabetic supplies. A lot of questions about how diabetic supplies are covered. They are covered at 100% on this plan. And there's also coverage for cough and cold, weight loss, fertility, vitamins, and mineral medications. And there is a list of those medications that we can provide you. Again, always call Humana if you have a question about one of those drugs. But if you ask us again in the back, we can certainly confirm for you those lists of medications. We also have something I want to share with you that some of you may have experienced last year. It's called a transition fill process. This is for new members, so if there's anyone in the room that is going to be joining the Humana plan, not currently on it, in the first 90 days of being on the plan, you do have the ability to fill a 30-day fill of a medication that may have, and I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes, some authorization requirements. We just go ahead and give you that first 30-day fill to make it a smoother transition, and then let you know via a letter and also to your provider that the next fill will need an authorization, or maybe it's step therapy, and I'll get into that in just a minute. And there's also, and I believe Roberta actually mentioned it earlier, there are annual formulary changes. So because of that, we do, and you will be getting, if there's any change with the medication you're taking today, a letter in the mail in December letting you know that either there's a tier change coming, as an example. So if that impacts you, we're going to let you know in advance. All right. Talk a little bit more about diabetic testing and monitoring supplies for anyone that does have diabetes. This is a very common question, so we like to go ahead and review it. Again, I did say before that diabetic supplies are covered at 100%. This obviously includes your meters, test strips, and lancets. And wanted to confirm that Humana's preferred, and again, this goes back to Humana's formulary. Of course, all carriers have their own drug list formulary. Our preferred insulin is Novolog and Novolin. That is at a tier 2 copay. Humalog, Humulin, and Apidra are available at a higher tier. Also, there is a $0 copay for Medicare-covered therapeutic continuous glucose monitors. It's always a mouthful to say, CGMs, and supplies for those of you that need that. Also, Humana's preferred DME provider for those is CCS Medical and Edwards Healthcare. All right. All right, a few plan reminders again on the pharmacy side, and I mentioned a few of these earlier, but I'll go into a little bit more detail here. You'll see on the screen from the base plan and the enhanced plan perspective, Tier 1 and Tier 2 are a $10 copay and a $40 copay. For Tier 3, this is where a little bit of the difference comes in between the two plans that we offer. So the base plan is $64 copay, and the enhanced is $50. Tier 4, which are mostly your higher cost and specialty drugs, it's a 25% coinsurance of the cost with a maximum of $100 copay per prescription, and that's on both as well. There is a $2,500 maximum out-of-pocket on this plan on the pharmacy side. So that means as you're paying those copays and the coinsurance, as you pay those and it's accumulating up to that $2,500 maximum, after that there is no additional cost from your perspective. So the plan will pay 100%. There's also prior authorization and step therapy on some drugs. And if you're getting a new prescription, and again, you want to confirm that before you fill it, Humana is always a phone call away, back your card, to confirm that particular medication. So prior authorization is when, think of an opioid as a really good example, a pain medication that we know can have some addictive qualities. We want to make sure that there's documentation from your provider before we would approve that. So that's a really good example of a prior authorization medication. From a step therapy standpoint, little different from prior authorization. Step therapy is when Humana, think of let's say a medication A versus a medication B. What we are recommending would be, let's try medication A, just due to potentially safety or efficacy or cost advantages over medication B first. And if medication A doesn't work, and we have that documentation, then we'll review the medication B. So that's why it's called step therapy. You try one, that doesn't work, then try the next. So wanted to walk you all through that process in case you may have come across that or may come across that in the future. Also, I talked earlier about insulin coverage. Novolin and Novolog are our preferred, and those are at a Tier 2. And I also wanted to mention Medicare exclusions. So again, I said earlier that we cover Medicare covered drugs, so that's important. If it is considered experimental or just came out and it's not been FDA approved, as an example, it will not be covered on the Humana plan. So it's just good for you to know that up front, and again, be prepared if that happens. We do have an in-home health and well-being assessment, and I see somebody shaking their head, so they may have had that done. This is a really nice way for a nurse practitioner or provider to come in, do about a 45 to hour long health assessment in your home. They walk through your vital signs, your blood pressure, take a bit of an assessment about your history, and it is really meant definitely not to take the place of your regular doctor's care, but it is to be supplemental and really give you a more relaxed environment to ask any questions that you want to, potentially about your condition, how to manage it. So I would encourage you, if you get a call about an in-home health and wellness assessment, I hope encourage you to do it if you feel comfortable, and if not, that's okay too. But you can definitely talk, about your concerns with that particular provider in your home, and you also get a reward by doing it. So hopefully a few of you might have gotten your card in the mail after you did that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about getting up and going. So Silver Sneakers is a fitness program. Some of you, I'm sure, have taken advantage of that over the years. My mom is definitely one that enjoys doing a little bit of Zumba every now and then. But this gives you access to exercise equipment, group fitness classes, and social events as well. Also works, of course, to tone up your muscle strength, like it said up here, flexibility and balance as well. Now, of course, pre-COVID, we could all be walking into our Silver Sneakers gyms and getting at it. Obviously, right now, it's kind of hit or miss. So we do have lots of virtual Silver Sneakers opportunities. So if you haven't checked that out already, I know on the screen here it gives you the website. Feel free to check that out. They're a lot of fun, and you can do it from the comfort of your home. Also, current Silver Sneakers members, there's no change. As long as you have your ID card, it's completely the same. You can also show your Humana ID card, and they will recognize that at a Silver Sneakers facility, and you're good to go. Also, just to mention that there is reciprocity. So if you travel and you still want to keep your exercise going, you can enter any of those Silver Sneakers facilities, whether you're in your home base or you're traveling. There's also an opportunity for you to get rewarded for the things that you're probably already doing. Your preventive services, so think colonoscopies, mammograms, annual physicals as well. So feel free to check out r.humana.com/NCSHP. This will give you some information, more information about Go365. Once you do these healthy activities, we actually will reward you. You can go into the Go365 mall and get some gift cards to either, a lot of people will store them up and then use them for Christmas. I never do that. I always say that I should, but I always forget to do it. But there's people that I always am jealous that they plan ahead. I'm not always good at that. But again, there are 3 easy ways to track and earn. You can attend a participating fitness class. You can log your workouts online. You can also connect an activity tracker to Go365 as well, and then log at least 500 steps a day, and you earn these rewards towards those cards. So if you haven't done it already and this is unfamiliar to you, I encourage you to do it because you'll definitely get some nice rewards along the way and feel better. All right, Humana Welldyne. There is an overnight, when you have an overnight inpatient stay in a hospital or a skilled nursing facility, you can get 28 meals, 2 meals per day, so it's for 14 days after you come home from the facility. We are able to customize, Welldyne is able to customize these meals based upon your diet. So if the preference is pureed due to a particular surgery that you just had, or it needs to be gluten-free, lots of different options, we can customize those meals to you, which is helpful, just given, as we all know, you're weaker when you get out of the hospital. So it's nice to have those meals that you can just kind of throw in and not have to worry about that. All right, what else does Humana offer? There are discounts on hearing aids, vision services, dental services as well, also access to Lifeline medical alert systems. I mentioned there's also delivery, again, on another meal through Mom's Meals, that you get a discount on those. There's also some resources called My Directives about advanced care planning, which is really good to just go ahead and research some of those documents and have that ready to go. So that's a nice resource that's available as well. We have a custom website specific to the North Carolina State Health Plan. It has a wealth of knowledge on this page, so I encourage you, if you haven't gone out to this website, please go ahead and do that. It is our.humana.com/NCSHP. I know I've said that a lot, so I keep trying to repeat it, so you can definitely take advantage of that. We also have facilities in North Carolina that we called Humana in Your Neighborhood facilities. You can see right behind me all the locations that we do have in North Carolina. This is a resource for those that live near one of these. You can walk in, help with your Humana plan. There's also, I'll say, in a pre-COVID and hopefully a post-COVID world, a time where we will be able to do some in-person events at these locations as well. Think about, again, yoga, Zumba. You'll also have some chronic care seminars that can be available at these facilities. And once we get some in-person events rolling, you will receive a invitation from Humana if you live near any of these facilities. There's also virtual classes available right now online for these neighborhood centers. Now, if you do not live near one of these neighborhood centers, we also have what we call Humana Bringing Humana to You events. These are a lot of fun. These are mostly educational. So we've done crafting, virtual volunteering events, which I think went really, really well. Also, we've had Go 365, like I talked earlier about the wellness reward program. Also have had Silver Sneakers come and do a little online streaming event. So there will be an invitation forthcoming in the spring, which is normally when we do these. We also do work with the association to promote these as well. So just be on the lookout, and next time you see Bringing Humana to You, you'll know what it is, and we would love to have you attend. Lastly, what to expect after open enrollment. So you will receive an enrollment letter that verifies your enrollment has been completed in the system and confirmed by Medicare. This will be received in December prior to January 1st, 2022. New members will receive a new ID card. Current members, you will continue to use the ID card that you have already. We will also send a postcard with instructions on how to complete the Medicare Health Survey, so be on the lookout for that. Also, evidence of coverage. So new members will, again, receive a detailed benefit booklet in the mail. Those of you that are on the plan already, you will receive what's called an annual notice of change. You've probably seen these before if you've been on a Medicare Advantage plan for a bit. So just be on the lookout for that as well. All right, so as I stated before, we, myself, Maisie, and Claudette will be around for any questions that you have about the plan throughout today. But if there's something that you think of and you go, oh, shoot, I should have asked them that, please reach out to Humana. The number's on the back of your ID card. We'll be happy to assist. And honestly, anything that you need, if we need to connect with your providers, please don't hesitate to call us and let us help you. Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, and it was great to be here.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the 70/30 PPO plan. So relative to that plan and also the 80/20 for those of you who may be still non-Medicare eligible, the CPP Clear Pricing Project is a path that ensures the members will have the health benefits for years to come. And while bringing transparency to the healthcare cost and addressing the rising cost of healthcare across the state. Now, we currently have more than 28,000 CPP providers within the network, and combining that with the Blue Options Network, it makes up the State Health Plan Network, which is available for members under the 70/30 and 80/20 plan. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we will continue to offer the reduced copays for seeking services from a primary care provider who is contracted as a CPP provider, and for specialists that are contracted as a CPP specialist. Now, I want to make sure that everyone understands, though, this program is only applicable to North Carolina providers. It is not available for providers outside of the state of North Carolina, and it does not apply to Humana products. It's only the 70/30 and the 80/20 plan. Now, if you elect to go with the 70/30 plan in lieu of one of the Humana plan options and you're Medicare eligible, then Medicare would be the primary coverage. Original Medicare would be primary, and the 70/30 plan would act as a secondary insurance. It is not going to be a supplement, meaning that it is not going to pick up and pay 100% of what Medicare has left as your. This is due to the fact that you still have to meet the co-payments, co-insurance, and deductible requirements under the 70/30 PPO plan. Now, under the 70/30 plan, there is an annual combined medical and pharmacy deductible of $1,500. And that applies to not all medical services, just some of them. It's generally for facility-based type services and some medications. Not all medications, but some. Now, once that $1,500 combined deductible has been satisfied, though, then the plan will pay 100%, the plan will pay 70%, and your responsibility is 30% co-insurance once that deductible is met. Now, there is a $5,900 maximum out-of-pocket limit that is also a combined medical and pharmacy. So once that combined maximum out-of-pocket limit has been satisfied, then the state health plan would pay 100% of medical and pharmacy services throughout the rest of that plan year. Now remember, though, Medicare is the primary coverage for your medical services. For prescription services, then it would be under the state health plan 70/30 card. Now, all members will receive a new ID card if you're on the 70/30 plan or the 80/20 plan. You will receive a new ID card during the month of December that we'll need to start using as of January 1st. So this chart simply shows where what co-payments or co-insurance gets applied to the deductible and what gets applied to the maximum out-of-pocket limit. As you can see, all medical co-payments, the deductible and the co-insurance, as well as pharmacy co-payments are all applied to the out-of-pocket maximum. Again, it's a combined medical and pharmacy out-of-pocket limit. This is what the new ID card is going to look like for 2022. Now, the reason why new ID cards are being issued is due to the fact that Blue Cross and Blue Shield is moving over to a different claim system. So new ID cards are going to be generated with a new subscriber ID number. So you're going to see a change in your subscriber ID number. You're also going to have a new group number assigned. And then there's going to be some additional benefit information located on the card that does not exist today. So once you get that new ID card, start using it January 1st. If you are getting close to the end of the month, end of December, and you don't have your ID card yet, please reach out to Blue Cross and Blue Shield and inquire as to when your card is going to be sent to you. Now, relative to open enrollment, as I mentioned at the start of the program, Our open enrollment begins October 11th, runs through October the 29th. Now, this is your opportunity to reevaluate what your current situation is. Do you need to make a change for 2022? During open enrollment, any changes you make would become effective January 1st, 2022. Now, it's during this time period you can also add or remove dependents, add or remove your spouse. You can also move from one plan option to another, regardless of what your health situation is. Also, if you decide to opt out of the state health plan, and we do have some individuals that will opt out of the state health plan because they may have other insurance in place, maybe they've returned to full-time employment. But if you do opt out of the state health plan, we do recommend that you sign up for our electronic newsletter, Member Focus, because this will be the way for you to stay in touch with what's going on at the state health plan. Because if you decide you want to come back into the state health plan, you'll need to know when that next open enrollment is. And once you're out of the state health plan, you would not receive any type of mailings from the state health plan. Now, as I mentioned, the open enrollment, October 11th through October 29th. You will not have to take action unless you are wanting to make a change. If you are Medicare primary, excuse me, your current coverage is going to roll over for 2022. If you are non-Medicare, or if you're covering non-Medicare dependents, you will want to take action. If you are currently on the 80/20 plan and your spouse or dependent are on the 80/20 plan, they're going to be defaulted into the 70/30 plan for open enrollment. And if you want the 80/20 plan, you would have to re-elect it during open enrollment. Now, a look at the rates for next year. Again, there's no changes to the rates for 2022. For those of you who are on the Humana Group base plan and you're Medicare eligible and qualified based on your years of service, you would continue to have a $0 premium cost each month. To cover a Medicare eligible spouse or dependent, it would be $4 a month under the base plan. With the Humana Group and Medicare Advantage Enhanced plan, then there is going to be a $73 a month charge for the Medicare eligible qualified retiree. For a Medicare eligible spouse, it is also going to be $73 a month. So it'd be a total of $146 a month that would come out of your state pension. Now, if for some reason your state pension is not large enough to cover whatever premium you owe the state each month, then you would receive a direct bill, just for those of you who may be in that situation. For the 70/30 plan, it is going to continue to be a zero premium cost for the Medicare eligible qualified members. And for a Medicare eligible spouse, as I stated earlier, $425 a month for a Medicare eligible spouse. So during the open enrollment period, you can make changes either online or by calling our Eligibility and Enrollment Support Center. If you want to do the change online, you would visit the State Health Plan's website, which is www.shpnc.org, and then click on e-benefits. Once you're at that location, it'll direct you to Orbit. Log into Orbit, and then you'll be able to access the enrollment for the state health plan. Calling our Eligibility and Enrollment Support Center, you can do that by calling 855-859-0966. They're going to have extended hours during our open enrollment period, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. And then they'll also be open on Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Now, remember, unless you're making a change, you're Medicare eligible, you're on either the Humana plans or the 70-30 plan, they're going to roll over for 2022. Now, the decision guides should be going out very shortly. You will receive them before the open enrollment, and they will include a lot of the information we've gone over today, as well as premium rate information. We'll also be conducting 24 webinars for our Medicare eligible individuals. They actually kick off next Tuesday and will continue through, I think, October the 27th. And we're doing on average 2 webinars a day. We have them spread out in the morning, afternoon, and evening hours. So we do encourage you to enroll into one of those as well. It's always good to have and to maintain your current address with the state health plan, as well as Social Security and the state retirement system. If you are currently on the 70-30 plan and thinking about rolling over to one of the Humana plan options, if you only have a P.O. Box address on record with the state health plan, we will need to have your physical address. Humana is unable to process an enrollment with just a P.O. Box address. This is based on federal guidelines, so they will have to have that physical address. So we do ask that you please update your address with the state health plan. We can retain that P.O. Box for your mailing purposes and the physical address for enrollment purposes. Here is a list of important numbers. They will be contained in your decision guides that you will be receiving before open enrollment. So if there's any questions after our presentation, I, along with Humana, will be available through the end of the day today. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. A lot of information, that's for sure. A lot going on with the health plan. Folks, we're at my favorite part of the agenda, lunch. Remember, I like food at meetings, and boy, we've got food for you today. Just a couple housekeeping things before we get to that point. One, I'd like to recognize another board member that's with us today. Carl Sanders is here. So Carl, please stand up. He's a board of director as well. Please welcome him. He hails from the eastern part of the state, and we're glad to have Carl with us as well. All right. Lunch. So we've got some chicken over there. I think it's a steak, there's salad, there's all kinds of good stuff. Now, one thing that we want to make sure is that we are disciplined in our trek to the table, okay? Take your time, don't run over anybody. We've been working hard this morning, we know you're hungry, all right? But do take your time. I find if you just sit at the table for a couple minutes, the line's gone down and you can help yourself. We also have the opportunity and have Senator Corbin is here with us, and he's going to give us a few words once we get done with lunch. So we're excited about that as well. Now, if we'll just take a moment, let's give thanks. Please bow your heads. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for this group of people that have come to join us today. Hopefully we're educating and informing them on information that they are liking and enjoying. Please guide us as you did coming here, going home, or to our next destination. Now bless the food and the nourishment of our bodies and us to your service. Amen. Y'all enjoy lunch now. Live stream will be back in just a few minutes. We good? All right. Welcome back live stream, and those here, I hope y'all are enjoying lunch. How was lunch, folks? Yeah, that always gets the biggest applause of the day, does it not? We're going to continue on with the program right now. We're honored to have Senator Kevin Corbin here today, just to pass along a few words from his view of the state and the legislature. He is in District 50, Senate District 50. He is in his third term in the General Assembly. He served a couple of terms in the House, and this is his first term in the Senate, and I'm sure he's found that to be a different body to work with as well. Senator Corbin, as I mentioned earlier, is a supporter of ours. He supports our cost of living adjustment, and I will tell you that he has a mighty hill to fight and climb in the Senate to convince them, but he's working hard at that. So, Senator Corbin, come on up and give us a few words. Thank you. Wherever you want to be. You want to be down there? It's up to you.
How you doing this afternoon? Everybody good? Good. Well, you know you're not supposed to speak long when the next thing on the agenda is 110 and they give you the microphone at 102. So I get it. I understand that. But I wasn't intended to say long. Good to see our treasurer, Dale Falwell, back there. I understand Dale spoke earlier. Is that right? Did he do a good job? Okay. Dale does a great job for us. I appreciate him. He's a supporter of mine. I'm a supporter of his. And he works hard for us, keeping the state health plan fluid where it's going to work. That's a tough job. In my other job, I was telling the folks that had lunch with me there, I had lunch with them. They asked where I was going after this, and I said, well, I'm going back to Franklin and work in my insurance agency. The General Assembly, our salary is $13,000 a year, and so I can't quite make ends meet with that. So I still have to work in the insurance business, so I'm heading back over there. But I work in the insurance business, so I understand the difficulties and like with the state health plan. I appreciate the things that Treasurer Falwell has done to try to keep that program afloat, as well as our retirement system. Yeah, give him a good hand. He deserves that. Just a couple of words, and I'm going to let you go. First of all, thank you for your service. I know many of you are like me. People, when they find out, I had one person tell me one time they were talking about teacher pay, and they said, you guys ought to pay teachers what you make. And I said, sure, we'd be glad to do that. I'm not sure they would want that. But we don't do what we do because we make a lot of money at it. And you didn't do what you did with the state because of making a lot of money. There's a lot of places you could work and do similar work and make more money. So I want to say I appreciate you for your service, whether it be local government, state government. I appreciate all our folks. I came from local government, served 20 years on the local school board in Macon County. I live over in Franklin, and and I spent 2 terms on the county commission, and then I ran for the state house, served 2 terms, and now I'm in the state senate, which proves one thing: I just can't keep a job, right? I keep moving around, and but I served in local government, so I get what it's like to be in local government. And so when I've gotten to the legislature, I have been careful about things like unfunded mandates and passing things back to local government to spend, and so that's very important to me. Let me give you just a brief update, and then I'll be finished. The legislature has been working on the budget for some time. So to give you an idea how that works, you know, there's 2 chambers. There's the House and there's the Senate. I was in the House, now I'm in the Senate. Every other budget, it switches back and forth. The House does the budget first one time, and then the Senate does it. The next time it's the Senate, then the House. This was the time for the Senate. So we started on the budget as soon as we got there this year, and shortly after in January. We finished with it late April, 1st of May, and we passed that over to the House. They've been working on it since then. They got finished with it a few weeks ago, and now we've been in what we call conference. So what that means is the House comes up with a different version of the budget than the Senate. We agreed on a figure. It's just a little bit less than $26 billion with a B. And so we kind of agreed on a figure, but we didn't agree exactly on how that money was spent within that dollar amount. So what happens, the Senate comes up with a budget, the House comes up with a budget, and then we do what called conference, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Some folks from both houses sit down around a table and have conference, and they decide, okay, what are we going to spend on this? What are we going to spend on this? How much are we going to spend on this budget item? We finally have come to pretty close to an agreement with that. What's happening right now is we're also speaking with the governor's office. As you know, both houses have to pass the budget, and then for it to go into effect, the governor has to sign it. And so we have not been able to come to an agreement the last couple of budgets with the governor. I hope that's going to be the case, that we will be able to this time. We're hopeful. I spoke with the governor a couple of times myself when he signed a couple of bills of mine, and I expressed to him that I hoped he could sign the budget, and he expressed to me that he hoped he could. So I think that's good news. I think there's a good bipartisan atmosphere in Raleigh right now. You don't hear that. You don't read that in the papers, because division and those kind of things make the news more than cooperation. But I can tell you there's a good spirit of, as far as my concern, there's a good spirit of cooperation between the parties. Most of the things that we do, we have bipartisan agreement on. Dale, I see you're leaving. Does my speaking bother you that bad? I see the headlines now. Treasurer Falwell walks out on Senator Corbin. Now, Dale, I appreciate you, my friend. You do a great job. Thank you. Keep up the good work. But that's where we are. We're down to the conference. We got through with that. We're talking with the governor now. We're in hopes that possibly next week we'll be voting on the budget. So what happens, you say, well, you've already voted on it. Well, we did, but we voted on the Senate version. The House voted on the House version. So what it'll do is when they come back from conference, we come back and we will vote to concur with the budget. Hopefully the House will vote to concur with the budget. If that happens next week or the next, then the budget will go to the governor, and he will have 10 days to either sign it, veto it, or to do nothing. If the governor does nothing for 10 days, it becomes a budget. So we hope that Governor Cooper signs that. We're just in hopes that he will. But with that said, that's a brief overview of what we do. We do serve 2-year terms. How many of you live in Cherokee, Clay, Graham, Macon, Swain, Jackson, or Haywood County? Let me see your hand. Well, I'm your senator, okay? Now, if you live in Asheville, we got some folks from Asheville, you can talk to me, but I'm not your senator. Julie Mayfield is your senator. And if you live in Haywood, Polk, or Henderson, then it would be Chuck Edwards. So we're the 3 senators that represent far western North Carolina. But thank you for having me today. Thank you for the good meal. And thank you, sir, for your invitation. I've got some, let me get a couple of volunteers. Got a couple of volunteers to help. I need to pass out something. Yeah. So there you go. And got one. I need one more volunteer. One more. All right. Look at this. Just give everybody. These are my business cards. So if you need me, that's got my Raleigh phone number. It's got my Franklin phone number. I live in Macon County. Call me anytime with any question, concern. Again, I'm your state senator. I'm your voice in Raleigh. So thank you for having me today. God bless. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Senator, thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming by now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time.
All right. All right, folks, we're going to continue on our agenda. Moving on, we had skipped a little before lunch action and talking about some of the benefits that we offer through the association. Tom Cheswick is here with Mark III, and he's going to give you a little overview of our dental and vision insurance plans, as well as our ID Shield and Legal Shield plan too. And you need, the live stream is coming in, so I need you up here. All right. One thing I did want to mention before I hand it over to Tom, so you wouldn't believe this, but everybody around gets Tom and I confused, and they they think I'm him and he's me. I don't know why that is. It happens all the time. All the time. So you got tickets on your table. We're going to do door prizes at the end. If you sat down first and grabbed all the tickets and didn't share them, you need to share them with the people at your table, all right? Please do it equitably, and we'll have some door prizes drawn at the end of the meeting. So, Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Richard. Good afternoon. I've got dental floss out on the table if anybody needs some after lunch, okay? So again, I'm Tom Cheswick with Mark III Employee Benefits. We're in Charlotte. We've been working with the association for 20 plus years on a variety of different benefits that are available to the membership. I'm going to take a little time today to talk about the standard dental plan, Superior Vision, as well as ID Shield and Legal Shield. All of these programs are currently in open enrollment. You should have received some type of communication about them. Open enrollment runs through October 25th, and I'll get into a little more detail about that as well. For those of you who have been members for a few years, you remember that the dental plan used to be with MetLife. In January 1st of 2020, the plan was moved over to the standard. That was due to some rate increases that MetLife was wanting to put on the plan. The standard came in very competitive with long rate guarantees. And at the time, we also implemented a high-low plan. So you now have two dental options to choose from. Both of these options are what we call a passive PPO. So if you go out of network, you're going to receive reimbursement at the 90th percentile of usual and customary, which is as high as anybody reimburses in the marketplace. And of course, if you use an in-network provider, you're going to realize your best savings there. They have signed a contract to accept negotiated fees that range anywhere from 10 to 30, 35% below their normal costs. So using a network provider really helps out on stretching your dollar. So again, I'm just going to take a minute. Here's the high-low plan. So the high plan has no deductible. It has a $2,000 annual maximum. It's going to cover all your preventative services at 100%. It's going to cover your basic services at 60%. It's going to include your fillings, your root canals, simple and surgical extractions, as well as all your periodontal issues, which are, your gum problems, your gingivectomies and whatnot, all covered at 60%. And then it's going to cover your major services at 50%. And that's going to include all your big ticket items, your crowns, your bridges, your dentures. And the high plan does include dental implants, okay? And there are no waiting periods on either of the plans. So the low plan, a little bit lower in benefit and a little bit lower in cost, as you'll see. Low plan does have a $25 deductible, but that does not apply to your preventative services. It has a $1,000 annual maximum, and your preventative services do not apply towards that $1,000. So the $1,000 goes just towards your basic and major services. It's going to cover your preventative services at 100%, just like the high plan. It's going to cover those same basic services, but it's going to cover them at 50% versus 60% of the high plan. And it's going to cover all of those same major services at 50%, except implants are not included on the low plan, okay? And again, no waiting periods on either of them. Here are your rates. You'll see for the high plan ranges from $47.76 for a member only up to $133.68 for a member and family. Children on both of these plans can be covered up to age 26. Low plan, $36.12 for a member up to $119.96 for family coverage. I did mention earlier that these are considered passive PPOs, and somebody might say, well, why should I use a PPO or a preferred provider? Well, quick example. Let's say you go to Dr. A, and he's not in network, and he's going to charge you $1,000 for a crown. So the plan's going to pay 50% of that, which would be $500. You're going to pay the other $500 out of pocket, and the $500 that the plan paid is going to go towards your $2,000 annual maximum. If you went to Dr. B, who is in network, and has signed a contract to accept negotiated fees, he more than likely is going to charge somewhere around $700. So the plan's going to pay 50% of that, or $350. You're going to pay $350 out of pocket, so you're going to save $150 out of pocket, and then only $350 is going to go towards your $2,000 annual maximum versus the $500 if you went out of network. So there is quite a bit of cost savings by using a provider. You can go to standard.com to find a provider or call their 800 number. Next is the Superior Vision Plan. So the Superior Plan is a fully comprehensive vision plan. It's going to pay for an exam every 12 months after a $20 copay. It's also going to help you pay for materials, frames, lenses, contacts. On frames and lenses, there is a $15 materials copay. It's going to cover all your single, bifocal, trifocal, and standard progressive lenses at 100% after that copay. Every 24 months, it's going to pay for up to $130 of retail value for frames. You can also use the plan for contact lenses. It's going to pay you up to a $120 allowance for contact lenses every 12 months, and that, of course, is in lieu of eyeglasses. Factory scratch coating is also included, paid in full. And this plan is also a PPO type plan, so you definitely want to use a Superior Vision provider for this vision plan. The plan does pay out of network benefits, but they're not going to be near as much as what it's going to be through Superior. So you definitely want to go to superiorvision.com and look for that. The plan is $6.99 a month for a member and $15.88 for a member and family. One other thing about both the dental and the vision plan, these plans both would come out of your retirement check as a deduction. So there is another way that you can participate with Superior Vision, and in your bag, there's a Superior Vision discount card. Every member of the association is entitled to this discount card free of charge. Basically, you take this card to a Superior Vision provider and show it to them, and they will give you the discounts off of their retail pricing that are on this card, and that's free of charge to you for being a member of the NCRGEA. Next is ID Shield. It's pretty hard not to look at the news or listen to the radio or whatever and hear a story about some data breach somewhere where, thousands or millions of Social Security numbers have been leaked, and you've heard it. I mean, it happens all the time. So ID Shield is an identity theft protection program, and what it does is it monitors all your personal information on social media as well as just on the internet in general. When you join, you input your data into the ID Shield system, and it constantly is scanning for somebody using your information, including you. So if you're standing somewhere trying to get a loan and they're running a credit check, you actually would get a notification at that time saying, hey, somebody's running a credit check for you at ABC Auto Dealership. Is that you? And you can either click yes, or if it's not you, obviously, you can call in. You have 24/7 access, 365 days a year, and they will consult with you. But the biggest advantage of the ID Shield program is the fact that they will actually do the legwork and fix the problems for you. I've talked to a lot of people at these meetings who have had identity theft issues, and it takes hours of time, sometimes dragged out over months. I spoke to a woman the other day, it was even a couple of years before everything got straightened out. But they will do this for you. They assign you an investigator from Kroll Investigations, and they do that actual legwork for you. ID Shield's $8.45 per month for an individual and $15.95 per month for a family. ID Shield and Legal Shield, you do need to set up on a direct bill basis, either with a credit card or bank information. So lastly is Legal Shield. And Legal Shield is a legal program that in the simplest terms gives you access to a lawyer. For $15.95 a month, you have access to a lawyer to represent you, to give you advice, to read contracts, to help you out with all those little things that happen in life that a lot of us don't, we don't have a lawyer on speed dial. So they're going to help you with contracts, read documents, and then all the other things, speeding tickets, IRS issues. You see all the issues up there that they will help you with. So you have access, you call in, they assign you a lawyer in your area, and you work with them. They also provide a discount on any overages, or if they have to go, represent you in court. That, of course, you need to pay for, but they also discount their fee for those services. So Legal Shield is $15.95 a month for an individual or a family. And of course, you can buy it separately or together with ID Shield. So if you put the two together, you've got $24.40 or $28.90. So as I mentioned, all of these programs are going through open enrollment right now. And open enrollment runs through October 25th. And you can enroll in all of these programs. If you're currently in any of these programs and you want to keep it, you don't need to do anything. If you want to make a change or add one of these programs, that will become effective January 1st, 2022. The other good news is the dental, the vision, ID Shield, and Legal Shield, all the rates from 2021 are rolling over into 2022, so there's no rate adjustments on any of these programs. You've got two ways to enroll for Legal Shield and ID Shield. You can complete the paper application and send it to the NCRGEA office, or you can call the Mark III call center. Any question you have about any of these products, you can call that call center Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. I didn't do that. Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. So if you take away anything from this, write that phone number down. It's also on the information I have out at my table. And then you've got 4 ways to enroll for dental and vision. You can go online and do it through the self-enrollment portal. You can call the call center again. You can do an online submission form on the NCRGEA website, and you can enroll by fax or mail, okay? We also did a YouTube video a few weeks back that goes over all this information. If you go to the NCRGEA YouTube channel, you can review it there. And I appreciate everybody's time. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be out at the table. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate your support so much. Next up, we have Pat, who's here with Dream Vacation, Brit Travel, and she's going to give you a little overview of some options that they have and opportunities they have for you to get some traveling in while things start opening up again. So, Pat, come on.
Thank you, Richard. Thank the association for allowing us to partner with them the last few years. It's been a lot of fun. We are Dream Vacations, the Brit Travel Group. I'm Pat Hopper. My card says I'm a vacation specialist. That means I like to travel with you. Have a lot of fun. Karen Britt owns the company. She does all the work, all the details. She does a marvelous job picking out great hotels, great restaurants, all the sights you're going to see when you travel with us. So if you have any questions at all about any of our things, Karen's the one you need to call. She does the work, and I go along and have fun. We specialize in pre-planned motor coach tours and cruises, and our approach is that we are always at your service, 24/7. We travel with you and make sure you're having a good time, make sure you're safe and healthy, and we just want you to have a unique experience each time you travel with us. Make sure it's worry-free and that it's affordable. She does a great job of picking out great specials that are going on, deals that are going on. And for some of the deals now, when you call Karen, tell her you want Pat's with the World Travel Holdings. And they are the world's leading cruise agency. And what that has been for us is that we get better deals. We can give you better prices. We have a lot more to choose from. We're associated with all the cruise lines, and people say, well, which one you like, which one you take. We take the one that gives us the best deals at the time we want to go, and we work with all of them. The motor coach tours, we do a lot of that, and we're just starting up again. We pretty much were out of business for the last year and a half, but everything's starting. I just came back from the New England tour. We flew into Boston. Our motor coach picked us up there and took us to our resort in New Hampshire. We saw Vermont and Maine. And we go along with you, so these tours are great. We've got another one going October 17th, which the trees, the leaves, and everything are turning colors. It's just beautiful. We usually do this a couple times a year. This is a great trip. We get a lot of people asking for it. And again, we're at your service. So how have we changed a little bit since COVID? Our last trip, the motor coach holds 56 people, and we only took 24. We're just taking smaller groups so you can spread out on the coach. We've got the mask, and we clean the coach every time you get on and off. And y'all know the 3 W's you're supposed to do, and we try to make sure everybody's healthy and safe. These are just some of the places we've been in the last few years. Washington, D.C. is a great trip. I moved to North Carolina from that area. The Amish country, that's a great trip. And I don't know if any of you've been to the Sight and Sound Theater in Lancaster. They have wonderful shows, and they're open again now. And we usually have a dinner at one of the Amish farmhouses, and we see how the buggies are made and so forth. Any of you in here really like to travel? I hope a few. Okay, I guess I'm in the right place. We've done the train out of Elkins, West Virginia, the Biltmore, Niagara Falls. That's a great trip as soon as Canada opens up again for us. And Charleston's a great trip during the Christmas season. It's the lights everywhere. The shows they have are all wonderful. Some of the smiling faces when we travel. That's Karen in the front and her husband in the blue vest on the side there. Like I say, we travel with you. This was my last cruise that I did in October of 2019. We did a riverboat cruise, flew into London. We went to Switzerland, France, Germany, the Netherlands. And that was just some of my friends from the Apex area that went along. Up at the top of that picture is the White Mountain Hotel and Resort, which we stayed at on our New England trip. And while they were closed for the beginning of COVID, they did a $3.5 million renovation. And it was beautiful before, but now everything's new. The carpets, the bedding, the furniture, everything's totally new there. We were in Portland, Maine for a lobster lunch. You never go hungry with us when we travel, just like you don't go hungry when you come to these meetings. There's always plenty of food, right? Yeah, great. That's Karen's mom. We celebrated her birthday on that last cruise we took. There's usually entertainment most nights, at least a few of the nights. We also like to celebrate. If you got birthdays or anniversaries or whatever you want to celebrate, retirement maybe. On our last trip, we had a couple that were celebrating their 3rd anniversary, and they were both 81 years old. They had lost their spouses, and They were the cutest couple. We had a great time. So retirement, it's time to travel. People tell me sometimes they don't have time. And so now hopefully you have a little bit more time to travel. And I tell people, if you can, go now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Sign up with us, go now, have some fun. So, like I said, things are starting to open up. The cruise lines and the places we go so we can do the motor coach tours. One thing we've got right now going is a special with Viking Cruises. And this is a brand new ship, was built in 2019, and in 2020 it didn't go anywhere. And so now it's going up the Pacific coast out of San Francisco. And all the cabins are verandas. So you've got a little balcony out there. There's 5 port excursions included. And we feel we're pretty safe on this because everybody has to be vaccinated to travel. And you do need a passport because we end up in Canada. And make sure, well, today is the last day of September, right? We had a September deal of up to $325 off if you sign up in September. So you can still do that today. If you come and see me and call Karen, and she would be glad to sign you up. I don't know what the deal is, but tell her, if you call, tell her you want Pat's deal. So we are Brit Travel, and the website, Book with Brit. And you don't have to be a member of the Association to travel with us. We're a regular travel agency. Anybody can travel, so bring your friends and family and any organizations. If you have enough people in this area that want to come, we can start a bus trip right here. We can start them anywhere. You don't have to come to Raleigh. So, but let me leave you with just one thing. The only trip you're going to regret is the one you don't take. So come travel with us and let us help you celebrate your dream vacation. Thank you. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. Got to put my glasses on. We just got a deal. Royal Caribbean is going out of Florida the week after Thanksgiving, and November 27th to St. Thomas, St. Kitts, St. Martin's. It's 9 days, 8 nights. So if you're interested in that, call Karen.
Pat, thank you so much for those words, and I'm ready to travel now, I think. So we got a few other things. We're going to run a few videos for you right now, folks that could not attend because of restrictions as well. First is the Access Perks program that we have. It's a discount, online discount program. Hopefully you've taken advantage of it. There's a free version of this where you can sign up and get discounts. And there's also an advanced or a bonus version that you pay $18 a year to get deeper and better discounts. So let's roll that.
Let's take a look at the savings website and how it works to save people money on all their everyday purchases. As of today, there are over 300,000 participating businesses in the program, and they're spread out over a variety of savings categories. You can see them here along the left-hand side of the screen. Now, these merchants, they offer discounts anywhere from 10%, 25%, sometimes 50% or more. And the average offer across all the providers in the program is about 36%. Now, if you take the dining category, and that's my favorite, it's one of our most popular, the average savings there is about 44% per redemption. And that covers about 70,000 restaurants nationwide. Now, from here, if you're looking for discounts in your area, all you have to do is type a destination into this top bar. Now, since our program is especially popular with families, I thought I would start us out in the happiest place on earth, Anaheim, California. So let's do that. Wow, that pulls in a whole lot of results. Well over 1,000, about a 20-mile radius. Now, that's a lot, so maybe we should break it down a little by category. We'll start with the dining and food categories, since, like I say, that's my favorite. Okay, wow, that's a lot of recognizable names. You've got Burger King, Domino's, Olive Garden, Togo's, IHOP. Looks like you can basically save on every meal of the day if you want, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. Now, I love Marie Callender's since it pretty much has something for everyone, so I will click on that merchant, pop up a details page, and straight from here, you can just print and save. So click this big Redeem Now button, and you can see it's setting me up to print this coupon. And then from there, I simply take it in, show it to the cashier at the cash register, and now I'm getting half off the price of the second entree, and that probably saved me $5 or $6 on a single transaction. Now again, that's just Anaheim. So let's look at another destination. Let's try somewhere, let's go right in the center of the country, maybe go to Nebraska. How does that sound? Go right in the heartland. Let's do Omaha. And if we enter Omaha into the search, again, well, you can see another, well over 100 restaurants. And then if we take off the restaurants filter, we're back up to over 700 businesses in and around Omaha where these discounts are available. So it doesn't matter if you're traveling cross country or shopping in your backyard, you're going to save every step of the way.
I encourage you to give that a go. In your bag, there is an Amplifon discount brochure. You don't need to pull it out necessarily, but just remember that you have it. Amplifon is a supporter of ours, and we support them, and I encourage you to use them. You get a free hearing check, an assessment on your hearing, and then they have a wide range of hearing aids that can support you if you do need a hearing aid. I do have yes, sir, Bob. Right. Right. So, Bob, you saved half of what you would on a normal price for hearing aids. Absolutely. That's fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Thank you for that, Bob. We appreciate that. Next, we're going to move on and hear from the Social Security Administration, a little brief video about getting them downloaded.
My Social Security is a free, personal, and secure account that puts you in control with access to your information anytime, anywhere. Signing up for a My Social Security account is quick, secure, and easy. Just go to socialsecurity.gov/myaccount and select Create an Account. Start by agreeing to the terms of service. Then enter some personal information to tell us who you are and to verify your identity. Next, create your account details like your username and password. Select how you'll receive your security code, either by email or text, and then enter the code once you receive it. And remember to choose email or text under Message Center Preferences to receive courtesy notifications about your account. Once you select Submit, you will have created your personal My Social Security account. It's as simple as that. If you need extra assistance in creating your account, please contact our hotline at 1-800-772-1213 and say, Help Desk. Create your free My Social Security account today. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I'm still trying to figure out how they write so fast on that thing. All right, one last video. The State Employees Credit Union, you may have noticed them not here today, but they are not able to attend our meetings in person, so they pulled this brief video together to give you a little reminder of the services that they provide us.
Are you a member of State Employees Credit Union? If not, take the opportunity to join and experience all the benefits of membership. The credit union offers a wide range of deposit, financial advisory, and lending services, including the SECU Fast Auto Loan and SECU Fast Mortgage. Loan rates have recently dropped, and the credit union has also expanded its fixed-rate mortgage offerings, so now is a great time to consider a purchase or refinance. As contactless service remains a priority, SECU provides secure account access through our website, the SECU mobile app, the SECU automated voice response service Ask SECU, over 1,100 cash points ATMs, and by phone at our 24/7 member services. That's in addition to 273 branches providing in-branch and drive-through services statewide. We look forward to serving you.
All right, thank you for that. Next, we're going to have the Senior Medicare Patrol Program. Kevin Robertson's going to come up and tell you a little bit about how to protect yourself from fraud in Medicare and give you some information about that. So Kevin, come on up and fill us in.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I'm the last thing before the door prizes, so, but first I want to go back. That was an amazing meal we had, Richard. As always, you feed us well, so thank you for what you and your staff do. Today I bring you greetings from the Department of Insurance and your Insurance Commissioner, Mike Causey, and we want to talk a little bit about the North Carolina Senior Medicare Patrol Program, as we really want to help educate you about potential Medicare fraud. So in North Carolina, the Senior Medicare Patrol Program, we're very fortunate. We're housed in the SHIP division at the Department of Insurance. Now, nationwide, every state and territory has a Senior Medicare Patrol Program, but in North Carolina, we're very fortunate enough that we're housed in the SHIP division, because SHIP answers Medicare questions, and it's really hard not to talk about Medicare fraud when you're talking about Medicare. So I want to let you know that in North Carolina, our program is statewide, and we have a call center in Raleigh. However, we partner with a lot of organizations. We have 102 local sites. As you know, North Carolina has 100 counties, but in a couple of those counties that are the larger ones, we have more than one agency we work with. And in the western part, every area here, you have a local agency that you partner with. I know we're fortunate enough today that those of you from Cherokee County has your coordinator in our room. And thank you to Denise here that helps out with us in Cherokee County. But most of you, I know Swain County is through the cooperative extension, but most all the other sites in the western part of North Carolina are through the senior centers or the Department on Aging. So we want to thank them for their support and their partnerships. Our volunteers are totally certified and trained through our program. We have regional managers that keeps them up to date. Medicare changes on a daily basis, so we want to keep our volunteers certified and up to date with what is changing for Medicare. Now, as you see here, I just gave you the goal is about empowering seniors to help protect Medicare. Now, many of you probably have seen some news articles talking about Medicare is solvent to 2034. Well, we want you to help make that solvent for even further years, okay? And some of the things that are to do with that is let's talk about the fraud. Medicare fraud is nationally, the stat is $68 billion lost a year to Medicare fraud. So think of that amount. Now, here on the screen, I'm actually broken that down per a day, so 365 days a year. You're looking at $186,301,370 a day that is lost to Medicare fraud. I think that amount in just one day is enough for all of us in this room to have health care for the rest of our lives. So we want to educate you and those around about ways to look at Medicare fraud and how we can do it. Now, the Journal of American Medical Association actually says that the cost could be up as high as $83.9 billion. Again, our role is to empower the Medicare beneficiaries to prevent healthcare fraud through education, outreach, and counseling endeavors. Now, through our efforts, we want our Medicare beneficiaries to be good stewards. So you're probably saying, how can we stop Medicare fraud? First of all, how many of you receive phone calls on a daily basis? Actually, how many of you receiving phone calls and it's you calling yourself on the phone? I see there, we have some people in the room that had that very thing to happen. So we don't want you to be tricked into giving out any information to these callers. You may have someone even call you to say, do you have a back issue, or do you need a knee brace or an elbow brace? I see many heads nodding in the room. Don't be fooled or confused or tricked into saying yes or no or something to any of those conversations. Better yet, don't even answer the phone if you don't know who's calling you. Matter of fact, if you don't know the number, the good thing is just to let it go. You probably have voicemail. If they really want something, they're going to leave you a voicemail to contact them back. Another great thing to do, if they do leave you a voicemail, don't call back the number they're telling you unless you know it's a provider you're working with. We're hearing many individuals are being scammed into calling back. I know in 2019, everybody received a new Medicare card. We heard about people getting calls in their home saying that they want to verify your new Medicare card that you got in the mail and verify the number. That is a scam. They're just wanting to get that information to be able to turn around and start billing Medicare on your behalf. So it's smart and wise not to even speak to these individuals. Again, don't even answer the call. We want you to protect your Medicare number like you do your credit card numbers. So it's always wise not to give that information out over the phone. Especially, maybe they're even calling and saying that you're from your provider's office. Well, you can always turn around and say, I will call my provider's office and speak with them over the phone. Now, the person on the other end of the call may give you a phone number, but that number may not be a legitimate number back to your provider. So do your research. You have your doctor's and your provider's phone numbers. Look those numbers up yourself instead of depending on the person who is calling, because they're going to be prepared to have you to call back a number that they have that they're going to give you. So call the numbers that you're talking with. Again, watch for unsolicited emails and text on your phones as well and in your computer. Be careful to open up documents. If the email says it's urgent or that you need to click on a link, be very suspicious, because those links are going to take you to other areas where they're going to try to steal your computer, hack your computer, or maybe have malware trying to track your information and even potentially hold your computer hostage for a ransom. I know you're hearing that from other government agencies and stuff, and you may think that you as an individual may not be the one, but you could be that one. The reason that these individuals and spammers are trying to go after the elderly is because you are the one that has the liquidable money that you can turn around as cash to be able to give to them. So just know that they are targeting seniors just like you. Again, some of the most important tips on how to stop the fraud. If you go to a provider, every quarter you're going to receive Medicare summary notices or explanations of benefits. We are asking that you read those statements. Make sure that the services that you received were being billed properly. Make sure the items that were listed on your statements is actually the actual services. Let's give an example. Let's say that you went to the doctor's office and it was a charge that should have been just a $10 payment and Medicare should have covered it, but maybe the person accidentally hit the zero one extra time. That goes from a $10 payment to a $100 payment. That could be $90 that you may be charged out of pocket, which it should not have been. We want you to ask questions. It doesn't hurt to ask questions of your providers just to make sure the information is billed correctly. Another great thing is to keep a healthcare journal. Matter of fact, I talked to my sisters and my family members, saying, when they say that they got an upcoming doctor's appointment, I say, well, why are you going to that appointment? And then I say, have you got the questions written down that you want to talk to the doctor with? Because For me, most of the time, I go to the doctor, I have the questions, and then as I leave, I think, oh, I should have mentioned this. Or maybe I should have mentioned that. So it's great and smart to keep a journal to talk about or write down what you want to talk to the doctor about. That way, when you do get those statements back and you can compare them to make sure you were billed only for those items that you discussed. So it's very smart to make sure that you do that. Again, it doesn't hurt to ask questions of your providers. They're only there to answer your questions for you. And if you don't like the questions they're giving you, please give us a call. We'll be glad to walk through it with you. Or you can sit down with one of our volunteers to make sure that you're receiving the right coverage. How many of you know that Medicare, on your Medicare statements, there's actually a section on there how to file an appeal? Because if you have a question about a service, you can file an appeal. Let's think about this. If you needed a motorized wheelchair, and let's say that one of these spammers had contacted you about getting one, and they sent you one, and really when they were on the phone, it sounded like they were going to get you a Cadillac of a wheelchair. But when it came and you picked it up, it was just a little scooter that barely had a motor on it. Now, how many of you knew that Medicare only pays for one motorized wheelchair in a lifetime? Okay, we got somebody who knows it. She's heard me already, though. So the great thing is, if you fall for that scam and you actually really need a full motorized wheelchair, you may be out of pocket for the entire cost. So that's another reason not to talk with these spammers that are calling and asking if you need some assistance over the phone. You need to work with your providers, your doctors, and the specialists that you really feel that has the information to make those decisions. Now, I want to mention some of the current scams that are happening, because I know some of these are out there. We know that we're in a pandemic. We know that people are calling and trying to say to folks that if you upload your CDC vaccination record, we will send you a gift card. Well, that is a scam. They're just trying to get your information to sell it to others. Medicare is not going to go door to door. So if you have someone coming to your door, they're saying they're from Medicare, go ahead and close the door on them because Medicare is not coming. Medicare will not call you either. So if you're getting calls from Medicare and Social Security Administration, I know that they just had the video and they write really fast, but just know that they're not fast talkers. They will not call you. They will send you information in the mail for you to contact them if they need information. So don't be fooled for those calls from either Medicare or Social Security. Genetic testing, that's another hot item right now because we're seeing folks, we know that the 23andMe's and the Ancestry.com, that's great information for folks, but there's others out there that are trying to scam you to say, Medicare will pay for your genetic testing. Well, that's half-heartedly true, okay? Just like when you see a car ad on the paper and you think you're going to get that price for the car that's supposed to be the high end of the model where you're going to barely get a radio with the price they have. That's the same thing with this genetic testing. But for Medicare to pay, you actually have to meet 4 different criteria items. And if you do, you have to have a family history and 3 other items to go with that. Then Medicare will pay. But if Medicare does not pay, that means you are responsible for the bill. And that bill can be from anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000 out of pocket for you. So be very leery if someone's calling you about the genetic testing. I've already mentioned the durable Medicare equipment with the wheelchairs. We're hearing telemarketing about people calling with you. We're also hearing about billing for services not rendered. Again, that's why it's so smart for you to look at your Medicare summary notices and your explanations of benefits to make sure the services that are listed on there are the ones that you received. These are all ways that we can help stop Medicare fraud, and you all can help make that happen. Now, I know last year was a pandemic in 2020, but I wanted to give you some stats from our office. We actually had 239 fraud-related cases. We actually did 160 group outreach sessions, most of them being virtually, so we're very glad that Richard and them are allowing to be in person this year. We also did we reached 23,850 folks, individuals, through those group outreach events. And then we had 510 media outreach events, reaching 6.6 million individuals throughout North Carolina. So that's great that we're able to do this, but as we always say in our office, it takes a village. So we're asking you to help be that village and be that voice to help stop Medicare fraud. So if you are hearing about any Medicare fraud activities that are out there, and I also want to mention Diane Trainer. She's in the room with me here, but she's our Western Region specialist, and she does presentations to civic groups and faith-based groups. So if you have a group and you're looking for somebody to speak in Western North Carolina area, Diane will be glad to come out and get with you. You can just call our offices. Our numbers are listed here on the website as well, at the SHIP website. So feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be glad to assist you. So thank you, Richard, for having us.
Kevin, thank you so much. All right, folks.